button so that we can get this going. And I want to welcome you guys to day two. So I want to start us a little bit different than what we started yesterday. As we transfer in today, I have had an opportunity for those of you that sent me, or your franchise owners or coaches sent me your evaluations from yesterday. I have absolutely gone through and read every one of them, but I want to hear from you. What do you feel like, if you had two top things, what is the one thing that you feel like you do really, really well based on your evaluation from yesterday? What do you feel like you did really, really well? And what do you feel like, you know what, this is something that I still need a lot of work on, or maybe just a little bit of work. It doesn't have to be a lot of work. So what do you feel like you're doing really well? And where do you feel like, you know, you could use a little help? And let's see, Mike, I will start with you, Mike Conrad.
As far as something I'm doing well is, as far as not being afraid of the numbers, you know, when I go ahead and present something, not being, you know, scared to death or not being afraid to hit them at a decent margin. You know, the thing, you know, really, which helped yesterday, because, you know, Charles was with me, it still is, you know, trying to navigate and get around the whole product piece. I feel like I do well building in with the customer, measuring, doing all of that. But I'm still, you know, just it's my own self-doubts. I'm not 100% when it comes to going out to the van and pulling products that I'm, you know, necessarily pulling the best for that customer.
Okay. All right. So I'm not gonna stop at each person, but I suspect that this is going to be a common thread based on some of the feedback that I got. So let me just give you a little nugget right here. First of all, this is not math. You know, with math, you have one right answer. This is not math. Oftentimes, the customer, you know, they have sort of an idea what they're looking for, but I will tell you that people that are really, really good at selling flooring, they sell the same 4 boards over and over and over again. And that's not because every customer they talk to wants that. It's purely because that's what they like. And when they walk in and they like it, the customer likes it. So I don't want you to feel like there's only, you know, I've got 3,000 possible solutions. This is a multiple choice answer, and there's only one right answer out of 3,000. There's not. Out of 3,000, there's probably 300 right answers. The other thing I'll tell you is, if you bring 3 boards in, or you bring 4 boards into the house and they don't like any of them, no big deal. You walk back out and get more boards. I mean, I want to try to take some of that pressure off of not just you, but the rest of the class. You don't have to hit it right the first time anyway. So take a little of that pressure off of your shoulders, and maybe that'll help.
Yeah, I think I'm redoing my van, so that's helping.
Good. Yep. The more you know what you have in the van helps too. In fact, I will share with you guys an inventory sheet. I'll go through that later, but I've made a note here. That's going to help you guys. Patrick, how about you? What do you feel like you're doing really well, and where do you feel like, yeah, I still need some help here?
All right. Good morning. I had to unmute myself. I'm really good with the products and knowledge and all that stuff, but I guess it's the fluidity, you know, being fluid between different slides, and then also listening for those right questions so I can reply back to the customer, you know, in that situation. But, you know, when they talk about different, you know, as price is an objective, where can I go from there as offering payments, or, you know, the different offers, I can do that. So that's where I kind of get messed up on.
Okay, good. We will certainly be working with that. Jesse, how about you?
I mean, I've been in sales for about 10.5 years or so. I'm pretty good at building rapport, talking to people, can damn near talk to a freaking wall. Unfortunately. But my thing that I need to probably work on a little bit more is kind of get a better understanding of the different price groups of what we have in the vans. Carpet wise, we sell a lot of Dreamweaver. That's just how we sell. That's primarily what we sell out here. Just, I mean, based off of price and what it actually, the kind of yarn and stuff that they have. So, but yeah, I'd say just probably getting a better understanding of price on what to bring into houses when you can understand what their budget might be.
Okay. All right. Good. Sam, what do you feel like you're doing really well, and where do you feel like you could still use some help?
I'm eating breakfast really well right now. Had a late night, so I'm kind of behind this morning. And then the computer wasn't working, so it's been one of those mornings. Anyway, what was the question?
So what do you feel like you're doing well? Because I've had a chance to read everybody's evaluations, but I want to hear from you guys, the feedback that you got. Based on the evaluation you did yesterday or based on a recent appointment, what do you feel like you're doing really well, and where do you feel like you still want to improve?
After last night's appointment and closed it, I'm 3 out of 4. Feeling pretty confident. I really just need to keep at it and just perfect my my pitch. And so that's about it, really. I mean, I have a pretty good handle on most things.
Okay,
And just to, perfect my pitch.
perfect. All right, Dave Lee.
Oh my God, I'm a train wreck, Arlen. I don't know anything. Square one. No, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's, I've been in sales for a long time too. I mean, the one story I was going to share real quick is that when I sold cars, there was one car that I would pick and it had probably the highest gross profit, but I would find all of the fabs on that thing and I would show every customer, hey, I'm looking for a truck. First, let me show you this car over here. I know it's a Corolla, but hey, man, you got to see it. I would always sell it. By the end of the month, that thing was gone. Not always sell it, but a lot of times I like to pat my own back. So yeah, sales is definitely an interesting thing. When you transfer your enthusiasm about a product or a service to another person, that is just all it is. And going in with a positive mental attitude, no matter what happened, the appointment before or the appointment yesterday, is really what I found to keep my sanity, or at least tell myself that I'm sane and try to convince other people that I'm sane. So, yeah, it's just solidifying this whole process, and it's fantastic. I totally love it. And so yeah, it's just every day, just get better, find out what I can do better, and just keep that ball rolling, momentum.
So if there was one thing that you could have done different in yesterday's evaluation, what would it be?
I probably, let's see here. I was with Jackie, so there's a list of things. Probably just a little more investigation on the desired result that the customers are going to have. Really making sure that you pay attention and listen to what they say. Talk less, listen more. And I think that's a great technique that Jackie brought up. She's like, the more you write down, the less you're going to talk, the more the customer's going to give you, and the better you're going to be at getting that product in the house the first time. And like Arlen said, if it's the second time or the third time, it's still okay.
I would have sworn you were going to say, show up with my tablet. So nevertheless.
It's in the van. The van's in the shop. I got my sample boards. I got my tablet. Yeah, we're just we'll get it together.
There you go. All right, let's see. David Tanner.
Good morning, everyone. I don't have the experience that this team has, but from what I've seen so far, product knowledge, I feel like I'm eating at Cheesecake Factory for lunch, and there's too many options. So that'll be very helpful. And then repetition, consistency. We moved, the customer moved forward last night, so that was excellent. But as Brad pointed out, just me being repetitive because I'm so organic. Arlen, you mentioned this in the beginning. Even my process-driven appointments are still very repetitive and the same, because if there is an issue or if I'm having a slow time, what I noticed is the more repetitive and the same I am, the easier it is to identify, all right, I need to change this up. So I feel a little all over the place. The referral, Kelsey mentioned the referral yesterday, and I was at the door, we're knocking. I looked at Brad and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have a referral list. And I literally thought about it that last second. The young lady, the woman moved forward, so it was a lovely experience. But as far as repetition and consistency, I have a few things I need to work on, team.
Beautiful, beautiful. Timothy. Let Timothy take himself off mute. I don't see that you are muted. Have you got the double mute going on? No, we still don't have you. I'm going to let Timothy work on his audio, and I'm going to go to Armando and come back to Timothy. So Armando, what do you feel like is what you're doing really well in the home, and what do you feel like you still want some work on?
Right. So for me, I think I'm doing pretty good at the knowledge of the product and the installation process. Because I used to be an installer before, so that I feel really comfortable. But my challenge is the closing, the objections, the closing at the end. But obviously with the training yesterday, that was so fantastic that I can't wait to get out there and start doing more, for the next appointment, because I'm really excited and pumped up about it.
Good. Good. Dan Adkins.
I think for me, it's a lot of the sales process, the rapport building, the comfort in the home. That's what I'm wired for, and it happens very naturally. And I think that because of that, when I get to a point where it's not natural, I think the customer is sensing it. Like when I get to my lack of confidence in my carpet measuring skills, for example, or my lack of faith in the seaming tool, stuff that I'll overcome, soon. I think they perceive it's like, gosh, he's been the guy, he's been the subject matter expert till now, and now who's this guy? Because that's how I feel, to be honest with you. So what I feel I do well is establishing rapport, establishing trust. I'm sorry. Yeah. If you can ignore it, I'll ignore it. But yeah, it's getting to the point, like with the company story, it's all natural and it's all smooth until it's not. And it's just too jagged. And so I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's repetition. It's making it my own. It's, I got great feedback from Grant and Joe. I was very appreciative of their candor and their insights. So, yeah, I guess it's just filling out some of those technical knowledge gaps and learning where I need to worry and where I don't need to worry is what it comes down to. That makes sense.
So I'm gonna challenge you with something.
Please.
It's gonna be hard for you to not do, but I'm gonna challenge you with something.
All right.
Never run the seaming tool in the house. Just don't bother.
Okay.
Don't bother with it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Well, the worst thing that can happen is that now I'm not saying don't run it before you order the material.
Sure.
Run it before you order the material. But when you're in the home, don't bother running it. So the tablet is going to give you, if it's a big job, it's going to give you an 18% waste factor. If it's a smaller job, it's going to give you 20. If it's pattern, it's going to give you more. There's default waste that's built into it.
Okay.
But just accept the default for what it is and run with it. 9 times out of 10, if you just take what the tablet gives you, it's going to give you 3 or 4 points more than what you really need, so you're fine. Okay, now 1 time out of 10, right? And then this will be the one time that you know, this will be the job next week, and you end up landing this job and you end up being short. Okay, 1 time out of 10, you're going to be short. But when are you going to be short? Typically, when you're short, it's because it's a really, really small job, right? Okay, so if you happen to be short on a really, really small job, again, I'm not saying not to run it before you order material. I'm saying don't run it in the house. So
Right.
what's going to happen? You're going to end up having to order more than what you accounted for. And so on this one job, you might be, you know, 3 or 4 points behind where you thought you were going to be. But on the other 9 jobs out of, you know, 9 out of 10, the other 9 jobs you picked up 2 or 3 points. So who cares?
I like it.
Just let that go. You don't have, there's no requirement that says that you have to run a seaming tool in the home. All right, we'll spend a little bit more time on that today, and then of course, and next week we're going to dive into that some, because I want to take that pressure off of your shoulders. There is a difference between sales and production. There's a big difference between sales and production, and the tablet is a great sales tool. It's really not a great production tool. It was never intended to be a great production tool. So let's quit trying to make it a great production tool and use it for what it was meant for.
No, that's a good point. You've made that point before, but it hits home more completely now, because when I finish measuring for hard surface, I'm pretty confident in that. My hard surface estimates have been pretty spot on, but carpet's all over the place. So if I can,
There you go.
all right.
Good. All right, Ashley, good to see you.
Good to see you too. I think one thing I can work on is my immune system and actually showing up for training. No, so I obviously wasn't here yesterday, but in the appointments that I have been able to run so far, I'd agree with Dan that where I excel, I think, is in the building rapport, kind of that initial stage, building trust, building rapport. I think my biggest challenge, and I think I've gotten pretty good at the proposal building and the tablet, and it takes me a long time to measure still. I don't know like what is a reasonable time to take, but you know, if I'm doing like a 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom house, it can take me like 40 minutes, which seems like a long time. So I don't know if there's some efficiencies that I can build there. But otherwise, I would say it's just product, not product knowledge, but if I look at a board, I can tell, you know, this is what this board's about, but it's hard for me to go to all my samples and say, okay, this is within their price range and the kind of style that they want. You know, it's kind of hard for me it takes me a little bit of time to sort through everything still. And I think that maybe will just come with more exposure to the boards. But yeah, I would say that's my biggest thing.
Okay, good. Let's see, John Hester.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with most of everything. It's just getting familiar with the specifics of the lingo, you know, when to say what, and more importantly, making it sound natural. And then the product placement, pulling the right product. I definitely want to get some more knowledge on that.
Okay. All right. Let's see, Azam.
Hi everyone, how are you?
Good, good.
Well, from the appointment yesterday, I was able to build a good rapport with the customer. Went through the appointment, I was able to do the company story. I felt confident about it. At the end, I mean, I felt my weakness in the walk of life. I was unable to do that precisely. I mean, like, you know,
Okay.
the way it's supposed to be, because it gotten down to the price and I was not able to close. And I felt at the end, I felt like no matter what I do, this guy is not gonna decide right on the spot. I mean, he's not gonna write a check. I mean, he's the kind of person that needs time to think it over. Though he mentioned that he had other estimates too. So from other people, and I gave him better price than he mentioned the price that he got. So I was able to beat their price, but still, you know, he needed more time to think it over. And he mentioned something like he's ready. He'll be ready in about a month. So he gave us a good time frame. So I'm gonna follow up
Okay.
with him. But yeah, the walk of
Okay.
life. That's where I'm. I was
All
not
right, so
able to perform it good.
closing skills, good,
Yeah.
good. Let's see, how about Anthony?
Morning, everyone. Just product knowledge, getting more familiar with the various products and what is great about them, what to present to the features and benefits about the product.
Okay. All right, let's see, Michael Forte.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good at building rapport and connecting with customers. So I feel pretty comfortable with that. Let's see, I really need to start learning more on the product knowledge. I realize I feel like I'm pretty behind on that, but I've got the samples in now, so it's hopefully we'll start to click at some point soon. And just studying that and just repetition. I think that's probably the one thing that's need to work on the most.
Okay. All right, good. Delilah.
I mean, I feel pretty comfortable with the whole process overall. I feel like I'm really good at building rapport. I would say product knowledge is probably the thing that's like most important to me right now, along with just memorization of like when to say certain things and like how to say it like comfortably without feeling like I'm just trying to fight with the customer, being like confrontational, just getting more comfortable with that overall.
Okay. Good. Clayton.
I guess something that I need to work on is sometimes I get ahead of myself a little bit. And just, you know, asking them exactly what kind of product they're wanting, but also, you know, just because they want that product doesn't always mean it's the best. So trying to make sure that I give them that information that they need so they understand why I'm kind of leaning more towards another product. And just kind of making sure I have all the information that I need kind of before starting is kind of a key thing as well.
Okay. Makes sense. Let's see, John.
Yesterday you asked, you know, where you feel you're at. I said I was basically at about a 4, and the two things that I cited were the tablet, which was just messing me up in a lot of different ways as far as measuring, you know, stairs, different things like that, and product, which I've always known my product in and out, in and out, in and out. And after working with my franchise owner, who's an engineer by degree, so he's very, very much the kind of guy I like to listen to because it's all process and straight through. We went through a scenario this morning because we couldn't meet last night. He couldn't come back to the office. And I realized that he has a different way of doing it where he's not using the various prompts that we had during training. I flew through it. I mean, I was like, whoa, is that me doing this? You know, and I just have a really good connection with him, and more time with him is going to give me that, because I only have about 11 or 12 ride-alongs. He's been out of town, various things, you know, throughout the training. As far as the product, which is the most important thing to me, I feel like I went to the Bellagio Hotel, to the buffet they have there, and I tanked up on bread rolls and mac and cheese. you know, which is like the stupidest thing you can do at that buffet. Because I was trying to absorb all this stuff about hardwoods, which we don't do very, very little of. In fact, Jason said to me that, you know, that I probably know more about it now than he does. And we got together on the branch level, you know, what we do in our markets and where to focus. And the few ride-alongs that I've been out with him, I mean, I just want to be like him, you know. I just want to have that that ability to go and get the questions out of what they're looking for and then go out and bring the selection back. And I think that's going to happen with the ride-alongs that we're going on. So I'm kind of ratcheting myself up to a 6 right now because I'm feeling good about all the other stuff, the sales process. It was just, I felt like the rug was being pulled out of me when I don't know what to give them and you know, or how to measure it. And now it's those two things are starting to come together, and I'm happy we're on the tablet today because I'm feeling a lot better with it.
Good. All right, let me go back to Tim in Syracuse and see if we've got our audio worked out. No, we still don't hear you. You're using the computer audio, I assume? You may end up having to drop out and come back in, or if you can, down at the bottom where your mute button is, you also have the ability to change from the computer and log in by phone, like if you got a set of AirPods or something that you can use. In the meantime, we're going to go out west and we're going to go to see Alyssa and see what's going on with Alyssa this morning.
Good morning, everybody. So I would say that I'm really good at, I'm a talker, so I can build rapport all day long. I can pretty much get up to, I'd say, like company story and feel totally confident. I'm confident in my measuring, all of that good stuff. I would say kind of where I struggle is in the process of building rapport. There's so many initial questions being answered by the customer when they're talking about their project and talking about their life and things like that, that I've noticed my brain kind of doesn't get off track, but doesn't revert to buying questions to try and bring out that objection, which will later obviously screw me in the numbers process. So just making sure that I'm really dropping those buying questions in the beginning and learning how to customize the company story per customer has really been a struggle for me. Like, actually, Arland, I was going to ask you if you could like maybe play one of us as the customer and give your company story based on kind of whatever answers we give. Because in my franchise, you know, the guy I've been running a lot of my appointments with, he says it all the time. He's like, I more go off of charisma and charm. So I haven't really seen a lot of that in action. So it's kind of hard for me to like take mental note and switch it to my personality, but still give the same message and tailor it to a customer, right? So I would say buying questions and the company story are definitely still kind of a struggle for me. I'm totally comfortable dropping numbers, asking for business, selecting product, giving options, changing options, like feeling out the room in that sense. But really it's just the buying questions. And then if they don't buy, the walk of life, right? And the company story that I'm kind of like, I just need examples.
Nice. Let's see, how about Roland?
Well, I think this week in particular, right, we're focusing on the sales process. I feel comfortable with the tablet and the measuring and all that, but you know, I think with the company story and a couple of key points within this process where either there's things that you're supposed to say that are memorized, and I'm not a big fan of memorization of words. I think they come across static. Just taking that and coming up with stuff that I feel is something I can truly, I guess, feel, and then putting it into my own words and implementing it within the process. So that's really what I'm trying to focus on this week, is getting from still, you know, looking at it and listening to it and stuff to having it kind of in my own words.
Nice, I like it. Portia. What do you feel like you're doing really well, and where do you feel like you still want some help?
So I was not able to complete the whole, I guess, walkthrough, but I think what I do really well is the rapport part, talking to the customer, especially like the setup call. It's kind of strange doing it during like Zoom. It's natural when I'm with a customer because it's just, you know, I can flow through it easily. But when I'm doing it through a Zoom, it's kind of hard to pretend. But what I can do better is the customer's, the company story, trying to memorize, like Roland said, trying to memorize and try to hit each point. So I'm trying to retain it and then make it flow natural so it doesn't sound robotic.
Okay.
But overall, like the tablet measuring, it's I'm good with that, but it's just hitting each point.
Nice. Amelia, I haven't heard from you yet today.
Hello, good morning. So I feel pretty comfortable with the product knowledge, knowing different specs, benefits, and just what would most fit a customer's lifestyle, and builds a lot of rapport on that and kind of showing my expertise in flooring. Where I do struggle with is like the beginning of the company story. I'm flowing through it. It's very personalized. And then after the installation video, it goes completely robotic. And it's like, that's where I definitely need to start critiquing myself and get a lot better.
Nice. Very specific. I like that. That tells me that you're really zoned in on what it is that you're doing, being able to self-diagnose and say, this is something specific that I want to work on. That's really good.
Right.
Good. All right, Timothy, let's see. I saw you bounce out and bounce in. Let's see if that solved the problem.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we've got you.
Yeah, I don't know. I was having trouble there. Happened once yesterday. I guess for me, I feel good about the warm up. I feel good about the company story, although yesterday I think running through it, I was able to get good feedback and kind of add some points. I agree that I don't like things to sound rehearsed, so I'm trying to really make it my own. I think in a classroom environment, I feel very comfortable. I think what I really am craving is to get out there and be able to start organically seeing the different objections and not having somebody there to help me working through it, you know, on my own, making a phone call, because generally I keep a log of objections, and so that, you know, I'll follow it through and make some phone calls and know, you know, make sure I know how to solve that objection. And then there's one less that I have to worry about. So I'm looking forward to the, you know, more organic side of it, actually getting out there and, you know, starting to hit some of that stuff.
Nice. Nice. All right. I think the only person, unless I'm missing somebody, I keep looking at the screen to see if anybody has popped in. I think, Grant, you are the last one.
Well, I am I think I'm just learning a lot about the overall group's confidence in personalizing their customer stories, having confidence in developing transitions. You know, it's something that I've been having a lot of conversation with, actually, not only on this call, but some of the other calls that I've been on. Personally, you know, that for me coming into this industry from a completely outside situation, it's been sort of product specific, taking the crash course and all of that and understanding a lot of the technology, but I feel like I've got a good grasp on some of that now, and just enjoying continuing to work with you all and going forward.
Nice. Nicely done. Good. Did I miss anyone? If I have missed you, please take yourself off mute and let me know. If I've missed you, it was not on purpose. All right, good. Okay, so several of you said something about product, okay? And I want to give you a tool. I had not planned on doing this today, but that's okay. This is why this is one of the reasons I transfer in. I get the information that I can off of the sheets, but I also want to hear from you guys. So I want to share this tool with you guys, and I will send it to you, okay? I highly recommend you doing this. And this will change over time. This will absolutely change. So I want to share with you also, let's pull this over. I want you to know where to find stuff, not just that it's there. So I'm going to go into Floor 11. Everybody that's on this phone call has access to Floor 11. I don't know how often you go into it, but you do have it. And so I'm going to log into Floor 11. If you don't know how to get to Floor 11, I can show you that as well from your Salesforce login. So let me, while that's logging in, I'll go ahead and get Salesforce started. And I'm not any different than any of you. I still have to do the dual factor nonsense. So that's always fun.
Why do they do the dual factor when you're signing in on a computer? I'm just curious on that.
It's a Salesforce requirement. It's not an FCI requirement. It's a Salesforce requirement.
Okay.
That's one of their big things. All right, come on.
To give you that morning challenge, so once you've passed it, the rest of the day is a piece of cake.
Yep.
Yeah.
If I ever lose my phone, I'm dead. So, all right. So when you log into Salesforce, if you don't know how to get to, if you know how to get to Floor 11, then you can sleep for the next 30 seconds because that's as much time as I'm going to take right here. There's a little navigation icon right here, and of course that gets you from either your Design Associate app page or whatever to your calendar, to leads, to customers. There's all that good stuff. But one of the on the important links tab, which is the last one at the bottom, you have links to all sorts of fun stuff, one of which is Floor 11. And if you click on this, it will take you directly to Floor 11 where you can log in. So now I'm logged into Floor 11, and if I go over here to the left, now your home screen is probably going to look different than mine. You actually have the ability in Floor 11, if you go up here to settings, you have the ability to change your home page and whatever. I mean, do it, don't do it, it doesn't matter. But that's why it might look different on yours than it does on mine. But nevertheless, for everybody, if you go over to the left-hand side, this little menu pops out, and you go to Dashboard and Library. Dashboard and Library. And in the library, now again, my screen's going to look different because I've got a couple of corporate resources that you may not have. I've got co-ops and stuff. But you've got something called a Franchise Owner's Manual. Yes, Design Associates, you have access to the Franchise Owner's Manual. And inside the Franchise Owner's Manual, this is no different than if you were looking at, Internet Explorer or Explorer on your computer. These are folders at the top, and then you've got files at the bottom. So I specifically want to go down to this folder that says Merchandising Resources. So what have I done? I've gone to my dashboard, I've gone to the library. Inside the library, I went to the Franchise Owner's Manual, and then I found Merchandising Resources. And there is so much stuff in here. It's unbelievable how much stuff there is. For example, there's vendor partner support. So if I click on vendor partner support, every vendor that we do business with, that we have national accounts with, is set up in here. And I'll just, since Shaw is one of the biggest ones, I'm going to click on Shaw to start with. And you'll notice under Shaw that you've got so much information here. I mean, it's unbelievable how much documentation is out here just waiting for you guys to pull it up and see what's there. I'm going to go back to the Merchandising Resources for just a second because I don't want to spend time on one particular supplier. Instead, so how did I get here? Dashboard, Library, then Franchise Owner's Manual, Merchandising, and under Merchandising, there's a tab called Mobile Showroom. So I want to open up this Mobile Showroom tab. And in the Mobile Showroom tab, there's a file. Now, by the way, these are not always in this order. They're ordered based on the last one in. So the last one in is the one that's at the top of the list. So, but I want to click on this one, Mobile and Studio Crossover Inventory List. Mobile and Studio Crossover List. If I click on this, now, by the way, a lot of you that are in existing businesses, like Jesse said, we sell a lot of Dreamweaver. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of you have other suppliers. I suspect that if you're in Florida, you've got other tile suppliers. There's no problem with that. But those items are not going to show up on this list, and that's okay. So I'm going to open this list, and you will see when it opens. Eventually. And which screen is it going to open on? Oh, good. All right. So there's 3 tabs at the bottom here. There's something called a mobile showroom crossover names, a mobile showroom studio. So these are the things that are in your warehouse. And then there's the 2023 new products. So those are the 3 tabs in this spreadsheet. So the mobile showroom crossover name, if you were to go to corporate today, like Michael and Roland and some of these brand new franchise owners are doing right now, if you were to go to corporate today and say, I want a brand new mobile showroom with the standard set of samples, this is the set of samples that's going to show up in that mobile showroom. Okay. So if you've got a fairly standard set of samples, this is what you're going to see in there. So for example, I've got carpet. Addington comes from Shaw, and Shaw's name for it is influencer. So all of our stuff is private labeled, or most of our stuff is private labeled. You've got admiring 1, 2, and 3. Shaw calls that, of course we can, 1, 2, and 3. You got Alcott 1, 2, and 3. Shaw calls that True Solutions. Okay, good. So you've got who the manufacturer is. You've got our name that's going to show up on our product boards, and you've got the vendor crossover name. The other nice thing about this, so if you have this file downloaded, there's a link to data sheets. So if I take this Alcott 1 and I click on that data sheet, yes, it's safe. I still want to continue. Oh, come on. It is going to open a website, and it's going to give me a spec sheet for this item. Now you'll notice something. What did I click on? I clicked on this True Solutions, right? This Alcott, and I clicked on this True Solutions link. This is what I clicked on over here. But you'll notice that the data sheet comes up with our name on it. So it's actually private labeled for us. Not all of the manufacturers have done this, but Shaw has. So we've got a Floor Coverings International logo in the top left. Your product name is in the top right. And if you scroll down, you've got a spec sheet that gives you all the specs and all of the colors that it comes in. Now, yes, it does say Shaw at the bottom. You know, I suppose that's probably okay. You've got Floor Coverings International at the top, and you've got all the data about that product. So that's kind of the neat feature about this spreadsheet. When you download this spreadsheet, you can get to all that stuff. So what about the highlighted ones? Well, these highlighted ones are top sellers. So these are products, Capellan, Kanema, Classy Choice, Color Statement. These are all products that in the last year, I mean, that you have to keep this data fairly short. In the last year, these were considered top sellers for the network. That doesn't mean that it's going to be a top seller for your branch or for your region, but across the network, these that are highlighted are top sellers. Well, how can I find out what my top sellers are in my region? Well, have a conversation with your rep. Call your Shaw rep, take them to lunch, or have them come by the studio and walk through the van with you. They can tell you what the top sellers are for your area, okay? So, and that's with any supplier. That's not just Shaw. You can do that with Mohawk. You can do it with EH Floors. It doesn't, or EF Floors. It doesn't matter. Any of them will do that. They want you to sell their stuff. We get down into solid hardwood. There's not that many of them in the van. Then we get down into engineered hardwood. And again, you can see the ones that are top sellers. And just like with the carpet, you've got sell sheets for several of these, okay? There's nobody on this call that's in Canada, but you will notice that there's a couple of these products that are not available in Canada. But everybody here is in the US, so no worries there. So you can see the top sellers. We've got laminates that are here. We've got luxury vinyl planks that are here, and then sheet vinyls, and then the tile boards that are from Emser and a handful from Shaw. So again, if you're in Florida, more than likely you've probably got an account with an Arizona tile or a Florida tile or somebody else. No problem with that. It's just that those aren't going to show up on this list. All right, then you've got the stuff that's in your warehouse. So design associates, you may or may not realize you've got all these different samples that are in the warehouse too. So this just opens the door for you to find other stuff. For example, wool carpet. Well, there's really only one board that's in the van of wool carpet because it doesn't come up that often, but you actually have a lot more wool samples. So if you're going to see a customer and in the setup call, they said, I'm really interested in a wool carpet. Well, you might grab some of these samples out of the warehouse and throw them in the van for that appointment. Okay, no problem with that. Then you've got the 2023 new products, the brand new products. Okay, so this is all the stuff that came out this year to update, you know, your sample set. All right, so several of you have said this morning that, hey, I'm struggling with product, or I want to understand better what product options we've got, whatever else. I am a big believer that less is more. I'm a big believer in keeping it simple, and less is more. So let me give you a little hint, or maybe a suggestion, if you would, okay? And actually, this is something that I used to do with my design associates just when they were starting, just when they're starting. Go to this mobile showroom list. And again, if you've got stuff from other suppliers, that's fine. Just hear me out, okay? But go to this list, and maybe what you do from this list is you take the highlighted materials, you take everything out of the van. Just take everything out of the van. And maybe you take that compartment that's right behind the driver's seat, and right behind the driver's seat, you put all of the things that are highlighted. It doesn't matter if it's carpet, it doesn't matter if it's hardwood, it doesn't matter if it's LVP. You only put the things that are highlighted. And maybe if you've got room, or maybe you pick one of the sections in the back of the van, whatever, I don't care where you put it, but find a section of the van and put the things that are highlighted. And then maybe to add to that, because none of the 2023s would be top sellers from last year, they haven't been sold yet. So maybe what I would do is I would take the highlighted ones from last year, and then I would take the 2023 products and I would put them in the same bucket, because those are brand new products and those might sell really well too. And then everything else, I'm just going to put somewhere else in the van. So when I open the back doors of the van, maybe it's just those top two sections in the back of the van, and those top two sections have my highlighted materials and my 2023 products, and everything else that's in the van goes somewhere else. And then I restrict myself and say, you know what? I'm only going to pull from those shelves. I'm only going to pull top sellers, and I'm going to pull the stuff that's brand new this year. And that's it. And you know what? As a design associate, that means I don't have to learn 3,000 samples in the van. I've got about, let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I've got about 20 boards off of the top seller list. And then off of the new list, I've got whatever the new products are. So what is that? That's another 20 boards maybe? If that, yeah, maybe 20 boards there, okay? So instead of trying to learn everything, now all I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on these top 20 or 30 boards. That's it. Those are the only ones I'm going to bother with. If I told you that you needed to learn those 20 boards by Friday, do you think you could do it?
Hey, Arlen.
Yeah.
This is kind of for everybody. If you guys have not done it, you need to go with your owner. And Scott and I, we literally took everything out of our van, and he let me organize it the way that I wanted to where I would remember where everything is. So all of our laminate is on one side, all of our LVP is on one side, and we split the carpets up between like 40, 50, 60 ounce and pattern carpets, and we put everything in their own sections.
Beautiful. All right. Scott, Clayton, that actually gets me to the next tool I want to show you. Okay. This tool you're not going to find on Floor 11. I'm going to send this to you. This tool Again, this is something that I would have my design associates do. So if you came to work for me, I guarantee you're doing this within the first day or two of working for me. I simply take, and you can always update this, I simply take from this sheet that what's going to be from the van, and I take this, you know, all this carpet, all this laminate, all this stuff that's in the mobile showroom, and I simply put it in a spreadsheet. And so here we go: carpet, Addington, Admiring, Alcott, Afton. That should look really, really familiar. Addington, Admiring, Alcott, Afton. Yep, they're all there. Okay. And then I'm going to ask you as a DA, I want you to fill this out. Take a pencil and fill it out. I don't care. And I don't want you to fill this out sitting at the computer. I want you to go look at the product board and fill this out. So who's the manufacturer? Okay. This one came from Shaw. What is the crossover name? Well, the crossover name, I probably need to print that other sheet out so that I know what it is. What material is it? Well, this happens to be a high performance PET. What is the style? Is it loop? Is it texture? Is it pattern? Is it carp? Is it cut loop? What is it? What width does it come in? What is the backing? Is it a soft back? Is it an action back? Is it a lifeguard backing? What is my stain rating? So it's got 4 sippy cups. It's got 5 sippy cups. How about the durability? How many diamonds are on it? Okay, what are my features, advantages, and benefits? So if I'm trying to pull something specifically that has lifeguard, then I'm going to be able to look down and figure out which ones are lifeguard. How does the carpet feel? Now, I know that's subjective, but you know, when you're pulling it out of the van and you're feeling the carpet, does it feel really soft? Does it feel rough? Does it feel very dense? I mean, how would you describe how it feels? When you look at the colors, how would you describe the colors? Is it a solid color? Is it accent? Is it fleck? Would you consider these to be cool tones? Would you consider them to be warm tones? I know carpets come in a lot of different colors, so you can't just say, well, this has beige on it. Yeah, because all of them have beige on it. But maybe there's a color in particular, or maybe you look at a board and you say, wow, these are really, really bright, vibrant colors versus another board that the color just feels more muted, okay? What is my pile height? So is this a high pile, low pile, medium high? What kind of warranty is it, okay? And you can add to this, okay? So my suggestion to you, and I love what Clayton just said, take everything out of the van and organize it the way you want it to. My encouragement to you would be take everything out of the van, and as you're putting stuff back in the van, take a minute and fill this out for every product. Now I'm going to show you where this is already done, okay? Or at least some of this is already done. But the reason that you need to do it is because you have to feel it. If I just give you a spreadsheet that has all this filled out, it doesn't resonate. It's not the same as actually going out and touching and feeling and smelling the boards, right? You have to actually smell the boards, okay? You have to, okay, smell doesn't help you, but you have to be able to touch and feel the boards, okay? So I have this set up for carpet. I have it set up for laminate, for LVP, for hardwood. I'll send you this spreadsheet just so that you don't have to set it up from scratch. But this to me is a great way of just forcing myself to pull every board out of the van and not just look at it and say, oh yeah, that looks like hardwood, but actually look at the board and describe it to myself so that when I go to the next customer's house and they say, oh, I'm looking for a solid board that's hickory. I'm looking for a 5-inch wide board that's kind of a medium gloss, hand scrape. No, they're not going to give you those exact words. But look, I have something, I already know, boom, that's American Scrape. I know exactly what I'm looking for. Does that make sense? Do you guys see the value of going through this?
Well, and to add to that, so when I kind of did a similar thing that Clayton did, my franchise owner had us rip everything out of the van and kind of just free willy, like do it how you want to do it, right? But one of the other things that we noticed was, and since we were getting so many new samples, price categories were changing, right? So we actually pulled everything out, and something that helped me was comparing like Shaw Now to the PLM to the XL sheet to verify price groups, color, style, the whole 9 yards. So I would even challenge everybody like with this spreadsheet to add to it, because I heard a lot of people when they were saying what they were struggling with say stuff about price category. Rip everything out, and while you have it ripped out, go through the PLM, go through Shaw Now, go through mohawk.com and compare what we have, what we don't have, what prices are where, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes even I've realized scanning QR codes on some of our boards, the manufacturer website has maybe 2 or 3 more colors than what's actually presented on our boards. So it might be beneficial.
Nice.
And I really
takes
like what
work.
you said. I really like what you said about narrowing down your boards. Because like, when it comes to laminate, honestly, since I've been with Scott, I don't think we pulled any laminate out of our van that has not been a Mohawk waterproof laminate. Just because the other ones, we just don't trust them enough to put them in somebody's home.
Same.
There you go. All right, so pare it down. I'm not saying you have to leave the sample boards on the side of the road. You can put them back in the van, but you can restrict yourself to say, you know what, I'm using the top 2 shelves in the back of the van for my go-to boards. And I guarantee, if you do that, I guarantee you won't open the side doors, but once a week, maybe once a month. You know, then you don't have to, and that's a great way of not having to worry about that stupid little black track breaking, which it breaks on most of the vans anyway. If you never open the side doors, you don't have to worry about the little track breaking. Anybody know what I'm talking about with the track breaking? You will. Jesse's there already.
Yes,
All right.
already.
You keep us in Fords, and we're going to learn a lot about self-maintenance on these. I'm just kidding, but
That's right. Okay.
I do have a question, Arlen, real quick. I do have a question. So one of my boards came in and I guess the panel came off. Would you use Gorilla Glue to put it back on?
The panel?
Like one of the laminate, like the LVP came off of the actual.
Oh,
board.
yeah.
Stapler.
Yeah, so
no.
I mean, you can do it a ton of different ways. What I normally would do is use a Gorilla Glue.
Okay.
And then put it on the coffee table at night and put the Gorilla Glue, and then put a book or a weight or something to hold it down, and let it sit overnight. And you're ready to go in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Arlen, just a quick rundown. I was trying to get logged into my Salesforce when you were going through that. Can you give like a 30-second crash course of how to get to that? Because I'm on like where the links are for the price list manager, but my page wasn't looking like yours.
Well, that's possible. So let's see, if I go back into Salesforce. All right, so when you came in, you probably came to something called your, you probably came into something called a franchise or a design associate app page.
Yeah, I'm on the important links page now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then from there.
Do you have Floor 11?
Yes. Okay. There's my I've never logged into Floor 11 at home, so I'm having trouble getting logged into Floor 11.
Got it. All right. So once you hit that button and you log into Floor 11, then you'll have the links to get to your merchandising resources.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. I'm good. Okay. I can figure it out from there, but I just don't have, like I said, I don't have my laptop out.
Cool. All right. Let's go to the tablet then. We're going to hit one more thing on this product, and then we'll take a little break. It'll be about time for coffee to work its magic. So we've got, let's share the screen over here. All right, and I just want to show you a little trick. Most of you probably have figured this out already, but if I go into InspireNet, now you can do this from inside. You can actually do this from inside an appointment, but you don't have to be inside an appointment. 3 little lines at the top left-hand corner, 3 little lines, that's my menu button. So I click on the menu button and I've got something called a product selector. So if I click on the product selector, this is going to give me a list of everything that's in my PLM. So I can go to the price list manager on my laptop, but if I'm at the customer's house, now you do have to be connected to Wi-Fi for this to work. So this isn't something that you're going to be able to run unless you hotspot your phone or do something to connect to the internet. But here I've got my product selector, and let me just click on carpet to start with. And this looks very familiar to the spreadsheet that we were just looking at. It's not everything, but I've got style number, I've got collection name, I've got my style name, with the crossover name. So there's that Addington influencer, all good stuff. It tells me what the demo would be. It tells me the width. It tells me the fiber type, the durability. And this one actually does show me what price group it's assigned to. So this one, I have it here. So that's great. If I'm too lazy to actually put my own spreadsheet together, well, this one is at least out there. Now, I personally prefer doing it manually the first time as a way of forcing myself to learn the products. But then, you know what? You may never refer to your own spreadsheet. You may always come back to this. But now you have a much better idea of admiring. Okay, if I had never done this, if I had never done the spreadsheet exercise, I wouldn't have known that admiring, yeah, it's a polyester, but it feels really, really soft. For a price group 2, that admiring is just, I mean, it's a fleck color, so it's a tonal color, so it's not, the color is not for everybody. But if they're good with the color, if they're good with the tonal, it is just a really soft, nice carpet for a PG2. Okay, good. I never would have known that if I hadn't actually gone out to the van, touched it, and felt it, because that's not going to translate into something like this. The very first column is something called crushers, competition crushers. And that's just another way of paring down what's in your mobile showroom. So maybe you like the idea of taking the ones that are highlighted and only using those, okay? Or another way of subsetting your van is to use the competition crushers here. The problem I have with the competition crushers is that, to me, the competition crushers are sort of, what do I want to say? That's it's a tool that is not as well updated as the highlighted on the spreadsheet. So I would personally lean towards the highlights on the spreadsheet, but you could subset by the competition crushers. Now watch this, because this is so cool. You can download this. You can filter it. If I click on the filter button over here to the right, I can filter it. That's good. I can also hit the 4 lines and I can see the different things that are there. That's fine. Okay. But let's say that I'm looking at admiring and I want to know a little bit more. In fact, I want to pick one that's got lifeguard on it. So let me scroll down until I see one of the lifeguards. Good. All right. So
is this supposed to be downloaded? I'm sorry, but sorry to interrupt you, but is this supposed to be downloaded to the tablet, or it's
so
there?
if you click on from your schedule screen, if you click on the 3 lines at the top left, and then the 3rd item down that says product selector, that's where it is, as long as your tablet is connected to Wi-Fi.
That's what I have. Nothing.
Okay, good. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to click on the home button on your tablet so that you see all of your, so that you see the, or excuse me, hit the 3 little lines on the tablet so that you can see your windows on the tablet. And I just want you to swipe InspireNet away so that it closes that. I don't need that. I don't need that. Okay. Now that you have swiped it away and you've closed it, then find it and open it back up again. And I assume that you're on Wi-Fi. I assume your tablet is on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it is. It's connected to Wi-Fi.
Okay. And so if you close it and open it back up again, it should pull your product selector.
Nope.
Is your tablet connected to Wi-Fi?
Yeah. Still nothing.
Okay. That's something that you're going to have to get Owen to help you with.
Okay.
It's not something that I can troubleshoot from afar.
No, I understand, but I thought, it's something that I need to download.
All right.
I've been having troubles with InspireNet lately, and so I got a hold of FCI's IT, and they did some reworking stuff within the system, told me to uninstall the app and reinstall it. So you might try that before you do anything else, just to see if it'll reload itself.
Nice.
I'll try that.
Nice. Okay. Good. So let's say that I want to find a lifeguard. So I'm just going to scroll down until I see a lifeguard carpet. There's one. So we've got one called I don't even know how you would say this, brocade charm pattern. I don't know that I want a pattern though. I think I want a solid color. So let's go down and find a lifeguard. There's another lifeguard with a pattern. There's a lifeguard that's solid. Good. All right, so we've got something called Decadent Charm. Decadent Charm, it's a solid color and it's lifeguard. Okay, I don't even know what that board looks like. That's one of the newer boards and I don't have it here at the house, so that's one I'll have to look for next week when I'm in the office. Decadent Charm. So I want to, you know what? I want to figure out what else there is to know about this. So I'm just going to click on that one line. I'm going to open up that one line. And when I click on that line, it opens up more information. So it tells me that it's a solid color. There's my demo width, durability rating. It gives me the cost. So that's helpful to know. Now your cost might be different than what's listed here. That's okay too. And I have a list of the colors. Okay, well, those are just a list of color names. Boy, it'd be nice to see those. That's okay. So what happens if I click on one of the colors? Nothing. Good. So when I scroll back down, this is really cool. So at the top of this screen now, you see I have two links. I have a link to Shaw R2X and I have a link to Shaw Lifeguard. So I'm going to click on the link to Shaw. And when I click on the link to Shaw Lifeguard, I actually now have a video.
Want someone to spill the tea about our award-winning carpet innovation, Lifeguard Filters technology? I'm here to do just that. We know that clean carpet is beautiful carpet. That's why Lifeguard is built for performance, so you can turn an ooh into an ooh. This technology.
All right, stop it. This gives me a video that if I'm connected to my phone's hotspot or whatever, this gives me a video that I could show the customer. When I start to present product, you know, I can go into the customer and say, you know, earlier you were talking about really enjoying carpet, but you're having difficulty with the dogs having accidents. And so I pulled this product for you specifically because of the accidents that you mentioned. Let me show you this video about how this carpet will help that. And you can play this video for the customer. It's just a tool. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm saying this gives you a tool to work with, right? It's a sales tool. So let's go back to our product selector. You've got carpet loaded, you've got wood loaded, good stuff. You've got laminates loaded, you've got vinyls loaded, right? So this is just a great tool to help you pick products out of the van. Now, again, I will tell you that I'm old school, and I don't apologize for that. To me, if I go through the effort of putting together a little manual spreadsheet where I have touched the product and I've felt the product and I know what the product is because I've actually had it in my hands, I might have taken some handwritten notes or whatever, and that spreadsheet is going to go on a clipboard and it's going to ride with me into every appointment. And then when the customer is looking for something specific, I might look at my notes. You know, as I go back out to the van, I might look at my notes and pull that up instead of worrying about this, because I am honestly quite concerned that if I'm very reliant on this, look, I'm in South Carolina and there's areas where cell service is not great. And so if I feel like, you know what, I'm going to end up in some rural area and not be able to pull this up, I don't want to be too dependent on the technology. I want to have this on a piece of paper that I feel comfortable that I know I have it. Now that's old school. I get it. I'm old, but it works. And I don't have to worry about the technology not working. I want you to know the tools are out there. So questions about the spreadsheet, questions about how to find the crossover list in Floor 1.1, questions about how to get to the product selector in the tablet, anything that we've covered so far today.
My product selector, and because I ran into this problem the other day trying to find, does not show cost.
So when your franchise owner had your credentials set up, there's a box that they can check. Do you want your DA to be able to see cost or not? And he apparently said, no, I don't want him to see it. Now, he can go back and change that,
Yeah,
What I
I think he did that on accident.
Yeah, so I will tell you though, you may not have the cost, but when you look at the product selector, you at least have a price group so that you know, okay, it's at least, it's not exact, but it's within a reasonable range of these other, I've got $2 signs versus $3 signs and $1 signs. So, I mean, the 3 is more than the 2 is more than the 1. That at least gets me in the ballpark. All right, any other questions? No, all right, so let's do this. I'm gonna take a quick break, but let me stop that screen and get back over to this screen. All right, good. So my clock says that it's 12:12. I'd like for you guys to be back at 12:25, so that gives you about 13 minutes to use the restroom, refill a coffee cup, whatever you feel like you need to do, and maybe answer a quick email. And I'll see you guys back. Same as yesterday, turn your cameras off. When you're ready to come back, turn your camera back on. And let's just be prompt 25 after the hour because we're going to go into a breakout room pretty quick. For those of you that are not near the Atlanta office, Tom Wood is a big Traeger fan. That's his thing. He's a wine snob and a Traeger fan. And so he bought a big, what is it, the 885 Traeger, right, for the corporate office. Yep. And he has there's a little, I don't even know if I would call it a competition. It's just highly encouraged for everyone to take the opportunity to cook for the office. So pick a day and cook lunch for the office and use the Traeger. And he's, he said he'll even pay for the meat. It's not a problem. It's not about the money. It's about getting people together. And so last year, if you cooked on the Traeger, you got a little Traeger sticker. And so you'll see some people with their Traegers. This year, if you cook on the Traeger, you actually get a Traeger apron that he had custom done. So I have not cooked on the Traeger in the office yet. I mean, I've cooked on the one at my house, but I haven't cooked on the one at the office yet. So Grant and I are doing a cook next week together. Ron has already earned his apron. By the way, Grant, there's a gray apron and a blue apron.
Yes, you have to graduate. Yeah, your blue is your standard fare, and your gray, I believe, is kind of the pinnacle.
There you go. Well, we're shooting for gray next week.
Well, just to tease everybody on the call, we've got a couple people cooking in the office as we speak, and it is sadly seeping under my office door. So I'm being completely indoctrinated into Traeger smoke as I'm speaking to you all. So I'm suffering worse than you because I can smell it. You can't. So
I definitely recommend smoked cream cheese.
Yep, I've done that.
With whatever kind of barbecue seasoning.
Oh my God, yes.
It's so good.
Hey, y'all, this is a really fun group. So I'm getting married on June 3rd. So I want to show you guys what I got my fiance as part of her gift. Can you see this? It's a bathing suit that's got my picture all over it.
That's awesome. Congratulations, Clayton.
But Clayton, is the picture on the inside or the outside?
It's on the outside. Everybody's gonna see my picture. The tops and bottoms both got my picture all over it.
that is, well, congratulations, first of all, and that's next level. Well done.
Thank you.
The focus should be on them, something that gets away from the project, and just just to get to know, warm smile, a little chit chat, and really focus on them and what they're passionate about as you look around.
Right. This is time for them to share their story. Okay. Now, why do I emphasize that? Because there's a lot of us on this call that have the gift of gab, and we can talk to a tree stump. The warm-up is not about talking. The warm-up is about, yes, keeping a conversation going. The warm-up is about asking questions and getting the customer to talk. So I'll hear salespeople, especially very successful salespeople, tell me, oh, I can talk to anybody. Okay, but can you listen to anyone? Can you get somebody else to talk? That's the trick. It's not about whether or not I can talk to somebody. Look, I talk to a flat screen all day long. Okay, but can I listen to somebody else talk? Can I get somebody else to talk? Can I ask good questions to get somebody else to talk? What do I want to find out about the customer? In this warm-up, what are some of the things that I want to know about this customer?
Their lifestyle.
Good. What else?
Do they have pets?
Okay.
Kids, they have kids.
Sorry, Armando?
Oh, we want to know if they have any children or kids.
Okay, kids, yep.
Their interests and hot buttons.
Hobbies. Yep.
Okay.
Sports.
All right, so tell me about sports. What do you want to know about sports?
If, for example, I went to a home and they had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pictures and jersey and stuff like that. So I knew they like the football, they like the Buccaneers like me. So we started talking about the team.
Okay.
So that was a connection.
Just a caution about that, because sports is one of those things that so Armando, you might spend 20 minutes talking about the Tampa Bay team, right? You might spend some time talking about Tampa Bay. If you are learning about the customer in that conversation, then it's a great conversation. If that whole time you're only learning about the football team, then you haven't really learned anything about the customer except that they like Tampa Bay, right? So just be careful when you go down the path of sports that you're actually learning about the customer, because I don't care about the football team, I care about the customer, right? So just be careful with that, okay? Ultimately, what would be a huge win, if I can walk away from this warm-up and know where do they spend their time and money. Where do they spend their time and their money? So I can tell you that family is really important to me. Okay, but if you find out how do I spend my time and how do I spend my money, if I don't spend any time with family, if I don't spend any money on my family, well, then I'm not really a family guy. I mean, let's just be real, okay? So at the end of the day, if I tell you that, oh, I'm a car guy, well, what makes me a car guy? Because I bought a car? No, I mean, do I spend time on the engine? Do I spend time playing with it? Do I spend money on it? What does it mean to spend time and money on something? Somebody tells you that they love to travel. Okay, well, that's a great, where have you vacation? When you say travel, do you like to drive places? Do you like to fly places? Are you an RVer? Do you go camping? Do you go glamping? Hotel, 5-star hotel, international travel? Tell me about your favorite trip, right? So when somebody gives you a window, it opens a door for you to be able to ask a ton of questions. Now, let me show you why this is going to be really, really important, okay? And Alyssa, you asked about this earlier. How do I then personalize the company story, right? If I can find out where somebody spends their time and money, I can take this and use it in the company story. And I'm going to show you how to do that, but before we do that, I'm going to give you a chance to practice doing a warm-up. Well, I don't need to practice doing a warm-up. I do a great job building rapport. Okay, well, we're going to find out whether or not you need to practice doing a warm-up. Because in the warm-up, are you finding out about all this stuff? Are you finding out about this? Can you ask good questions? Can you ask good questions to keep a conversation going so that you can learn about the customer? Now, let me share something with you that you don't want to hear. Nobody cares about your stories. I'm sorry. It's just true. You start talking about, somebody says, oh, we went to Italy last year. Oh, Italy, that's great. I went to Rome and we had a great time and my wife did this. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. This is the opportunity for you to get the customer to tell about their time that they went to Italy. So it's fine. You want to be engaged. You want to make a connection. Oh, my wife and I also went to Rome. Where were you in Italy? What did you enjoy? Did you like the food? What was it? Why'd you pick Italy instead of Germany or Switzerland or somewhere else, right? I want them to share their story with me. This isn't a time for me to share my story with them. Okay, so you will find that people's favorite topic is themselves. So give them an opportunity to talk about themselves. So I'm going to break you guys up into breakout rooms. And I want you to do a warm-up. Very simple. I just want you to do a warm-up. But I want you to do a warm-up thinking about the fact that when you come back from the warm-up, I'm going to ask you, so like, I don't know, I let the system put you guys in randomly. So on my screen, Alyssa and Michael are right beside one another. You're probably not going to be in the same breakout room. But let's say that you two are together. So Alyssa talks to Michael. I'm going to ask Alyssa, so Alyssa, where does Michael spend his time and money? What are the things that he enjoys? What are his hobbies? What's special about his life? What's interesting, right? All right, now you could cheat and just say, okay, these are 6 things that you can tell Arlen about me, but the point is to actually practice this. So this gives you the opportunity to actually practice a warm-up. I know that on Zoom, it's a lot more difficult than it is in person. I understand that. Be thankful. Hey, there were franchise owners that started their business in 2020, and we were doing appointments over Zoom. So this was the norm in 2020 when people were having to do an appointment. They were actually having to do a warm-up by Zoom. So it can be done. It can be done in real life this way. And who knows, you may still have the opportunity to do a warm-up with somebody over Zoom. Even COVID aside, I know I live in an area where there's a big military base here in Columbia, and I would have to do stuff by Skype or whatever technology somebody wanted to use because their spouse was over in Iraq or Afghanistan or somewhere. All right, so let me break you guys up into breakout rooms. Well, that's okay. I'll leave that for now. Breakout rooms. And what I want to do, I want to try to get only 2 people per room.
Hey, Arlen, if you're if I happen to be the odd number, can I hang back with you? I've got a situation on an install that I really need your help with for just a minute.
Okay. All right. And I've got to make sure that the tablet and the whiteboard are in a room by themselves because they don't really help anybody. That's why it takes me a minute to search through. I'm not trying to put certain people together. I'm trying to make sure that you don't have that sort of thing happen. Move the tablet out. That's two. All right, so you are all going to get an invite. I want to make sure that you have time. I want to make sure that you've got adequate time to do a good warm-up on both sides. So I'm going to give you 20 minutes in this warm-up. You've got 10 minutes to warm up on, one person's the DA and the other person's the customer. Then we've got 10 minutes for the other person. So my clock says that it's 12:41. Round it off just a little bit. We're going to come back at 1:05. 5 Eastern time. Because I really don't want to rush this process. I want you to have an actual warm up with the person that you're with. And Dan, if you want, just don't join your room just yet.
Arlen, can I text? Well, no, I'll email. Give me the email.
How was that?
Very well. Very well for John and I.
All right, so let's just
Went good.
see. Let's just see. Who wants to share what they learned?
Well, I'm down because we had a great conversation.
All right.
So
Melissa, who are you with?
Amelia. And I swear we are 2 peas in the same pod. So
tell me what you learned about Amelia.
So I just want to start by saying she was very smart and she just noticed that there's a dream catcher behind me. And so that led her into trying to be kind of the easy customer, right? That was able to lead her into a lot of things. She asked if it was about like me and crystals, and I was able to kind of go into, no, my fiance is Native American, so there's all this, which led us into herbal remedies and my dog's cancer. So the conversation just flowed, right? Like she asked a question, she noticed something, and it totally just flowed. When I say both of us are 2 peas in the same pod, she got me interested as the customer and knowing about her life as well, because we just shared so many similarities. So she figured out about me that, you know, I'm super family oriented and all these things. And I figured out what her end goal in life is. You know, I figured out where her family came from, what her goal is, why she's trying to get there. We share similarities in business. I know her end goal is to be able to travel in an RV.
Diet stuff.
So, you know, and she's minimalistic. She's not a material person, you know, she wants experiences and to enjoy life. So, but that doesn't mean that she's a cheapskate either, because she wants the nice quality stuff that's going to last. And that's why she's not materialistic, is because it lasts.
All right, I'm just going to pick up on those things real quick. So what else can you give me about Amelia?
So I don't want to go too far into like her personal life, but we were both able to share like a very intimate story about like some female issues that we've had within our bodies, and we connected over that. We also, like I said, we connected over like herbal supplements and remedies, and she has several cats and animals like I do. You know, she tends to her family, and I think it was specifically her grandma, and all those sorts of things. So, you know, we basically summed it up to, we were able to talk about like a lot of medical similarities, a lot of life view similarities, pet and family similarities. I run a cleaning business, and her sisters share a cleaning painting business. Coincidentally, my fiance is going for his GC license, and he's being trained by a painter. So, you know, there was just so much back and forth between us that felt like we were mirroring each other, right? So it was good. We both learned a lot.
Nice. Cool. All right. So let's find another pair. Who else wants to share what they learned?
John, I think the young lady just pointed out, I apologize, I don't think her name was Alyssa, but what I recognized about John was discussing things and trying to ask exploratory questions, not only to learn about John, but what's important to John. So I asked John, when I pulled up, what would be in front of the house. He mentioned a boat. So I, hey, boating. So we started chatting about boating, what got you into boating. But then I jumped to what's important. Why did you choose that boat? And John likes value. He likes good return on investment. John is functionality driven, not design or aesthetics. And some other things that he was chatting about, I would take those, and then as I was showing samples, I would kind of not necessarily mention, but not necessarily mention, and kind of chat back with him to show him that I'm listening.
Brilliant. All right, this is the kind of stuff that I want, right? This is brilliant. Let's do one more. Somebody else, who were you with? And what did you pull out of the conversation?
I can go, Arlen. I was with Anthony,
Portia, yeah.
and he gave me a little challenge at the beginning because he wasn't very talkative.
Sorry, who were you with?
Anthony.
Anthony. Good job, Anthony. Don't make it easy for us.
So,
I was trying to get
Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, he made it challenging at the beginning. I was asking questions like, nice neighborhood. What made you buy in this area? He said, I got it from my family. I said, oh, okay. So do you have a large family? He said, no. And I was like, oh, okay. Do you have any siblings? He said, sister. And I was like, do you have kids? But then when he got into, the weather here in Texas, I knew that he was not from Dallas. So then we started talking about Dallas and where he was from and if he traveled a lot. So that kind of gave me more information about just what he does. And I said, do you travel for business or for pleasure? And he said a little bit of both. And then that is where I led into, I used to travel with my job and my home is my sanctuary. So when I'm picking things, I want to, be comfortable in my home. So I'm gonna make sure that I pick something for you where your home is your sanctuary.
All right, so be careful because now you're starting to lean into product a little bit, okay? You're still in the warm-up. This is still about learning about him. So you didn't quite get there, but you're like skirting on the boundary, so to speak. Okay, and so the reason I say this is because if you open the door to talking about flooring, that's immediately where they're going to go. And then they're going to want to, they're going to try to, it's not that they're trying to derail you. That's not the right way to say it. But they're going to derail you because now they're going to go down a path that you're not ready to go down yet. So just be careful with that, right? You didn't cross the line, but you sort of skirted over there towards it, right? And so just be careful with, when I pick things out, I want things, okay, I get it. I know exactly where you're at. We're going to use that. We're going to use it later.
Okay.
So what else did you find out about Anthony? He loves to travel, some work, some pleasure. When he travels for pleasure, where does he love to go?
That we didn't get to, but I do know that he has 2 kids, a boy and a girl.
Okay.
15 and 10.
Nice.
Let's see, what else did we talk about? We talked about certain areas in Dallas. We talked about, that's pretty much it. He was like cut and dry. I was trying to
okay. All right. Okay, good. We've still got enough there to use. That's fine. There's no worries there. Okay. All right. So what normally happens after warm up?
Inspection.
You asked the questions. I mean, how long you've been thinking about doing the floors? The transition.
Yeah. All right. So how long have you been thinking about replacing the floors? Good. Stop the share over here. I need 2 minutes. Not even 2 minutes. I have to switch my audio for just a moment. So give me just a second to switch my audio.
Either get up or stay down. Okay.
Team, for me, what Arlen just said while he gets through that is, for me, because I'm so organic and can jump around a little bit, I have to stay process driven. So the warm up, John and I stayed very specific to everything but flooring. And for me, it's important to speak the language of the people I'm in front of. So I could tell John has an engineering kind of perspective on things, the functionality, 1 + 1 = 2. And that's basically what kind of the samples I was going to grab, as well as discuss with him. After hearing your story, John, I went from middle to middle of the road as far as longevity, but we want, high quality. And I know your wife's interested in design. So we talked a lot about that, but I think Arlen's ready.
All right, we're ready. You guys can hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. Okay. So we would normally at this point do an inspection. Okay, so let's do an inspection. This is always a lot of fun because I got to get all of the technology working together. Everything's got to work just right. By the way, guys, I am about to step away from my computer. So if somebody drops out, if somebody's trying to get back into the Zoom or whatever, if you've got to get back in, shoot a message into the GroupMe for this group, and somebody that's paying attention to the GroupMe, holler at me, because I'm not going to be able to see your faces. Okay, I'm going to move away from the screen for a moment. This will make more sense in just a second. All right, hey, here's the home office for Floor Coverings International right here. Bam, there we go, big whiteboard. You guys should be able to see what we're doing here. And let's say that I want to replace the carpet upstairs and on the stairs. So we're going to do a little inspection together here. And what I've got is I've got this carpet, and we're going to go down the stairs here. We're going to work through the hallway. We've got carpet in the bedroom that we're going to work through. We've got another bedroom over here that we're going to do carpet in, and we've got this bonus room, and we're going to do carpet in all of these rooms. So, what questions do you have for me?
What is it about your existing flooring that makes you want to replace it?
Good. Well, I actually like carpet up here. This is really good. When I put this carpet in, though, I went cheap on the carpet pad, and it doesn't feel particularly good. And you guys know I spend a considerable amount of time standing, and it would feel a lot better if I had a little more cushy feel. I don't want a carpet that's shaggy, but I want something that's got a little bit more, I want it to feel cushier when I'm standing on it.
And then Arlen, give us something that you love about the carpet. Is there anything that you can tell us about the carpet that you love?
This carpet is actually, it's actually a pretty good carpet. I have 2 cats, and every now and then they'll come up here and spit up a hairball. And this carpet has actually been pretty easy to clean. So I would want to make sure that it was something that was easy to clean.
I think in the inspection video, then I would focus on the cats because they're clearly important to you. You've brought them up a couple of times. And then, Pet Plus, obviously, as well as refer to the upgraded cushion foam padding. That was my thing.
So where are you going to do that?
Well, I'm not going to discuss the foam padding. I just mean in the inspection video, I'll highlight what you mentioned at first, which was feeling that, there's no cushion. It's not soft when you're standing, and in your job, you do a lot of standing on your Zoom calls. What you loved about it was for the pets and the cats. And in the inspection video, I would just discuss that. So it reminded me what's important to you.
Good. Okay. As long as you don't sell in the inspection video, right? So you're just going to regurgitate what I told you. When are you going to talk about your product? Step 6. All right, so good.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it. There's a technical problem. I can't do a video while I'm on Zoom. It doesn't work. So I can't actually shoot a video. That's okay. So we've done a nice inspection. You found out some things. Do you know what I want my carpet to look like?
Yes.
Well, we haven't
Do
talked
you?
necessarily about color that you like, and if you like the designy textures, or if you like a slate look, right?
Oh, good. Yeah. So let's find out what I want it to look like.
Exactly. And based on what I've seen in your office and just kind of going by, what you pick up in a house, you seem to like things streamlined, simple, clean lines,
Neutral tones.
neutral, as uncluttered as possible. So probably not a big pattern design guy, but again, this is all just thoughts, not, that's a discussion.
Good.
Arlen, how do you see it looking, Arlen? How do you see it when we're done, when we leave? How do you want it to look?
Good question. So yeah, I like things to be clean. I'm a little embarrassed by, I've got the router on the floor. So as I'm going through this with you, I've got stuff on my desk that, I would prefer that things are a little bit tidier, but nevertheless, here we are. This is real life. I'm not, I'm not opposed to a beige carpet like this. I actually prefer to keep it sort of neutral, so I'm okay with this color. I might like something that had a little bit of not a real heavy, I've seen these carpets that just, my gosh, it looks like somebody threw up all over the place, and I don't want that. So it doesn't have to be a full solid, but I would prefer that we have, something that is more solid than not. I'll put it that way.
Arlen, in your Zoom room there, is that going to be your room? You're pretty much going to use that as a workspace?
Yep, it'll be used just like you see here.
Have you ever considered maybe vinyl as an option?
I have not. It's an interesting question, but like I said, I do a lot of standing, so I would want to make sure that it was something that was comfortable to stand on all day.
I understand.
So Arlen,
Right,
in my
good.
mind, what I'm thinking is, and I'm not selling yet, and I hear that, but what I'm hearing or seeing, my thought is that I'm going to show you an upgraded pad and a simple, functional, high-value carpet that'll focus on, your stepping or standing and absorbing that, using the pad, but you don't need anything fancy carpet-wise, but spend more money on padding.
Exactly.
Well, and I
Right.
think one of the options that we would consider too, right, would be like a certain pile height carpet with maybe a traditional pad or something, depending on if you were, budget conscious or not, right?
Okay. So how are you going to create 3 options? Let's talk strategy for a minute. How are you going to create 3 options?
One's going to be with a premium pad, and one might be with a more standard pad. And then you could differentiate the carpet.
Okay.
I think
Could be. But if my number one thing is I want it to feel comfortable, I mean, the best way to do that is with some sort of upgraded pad. So I would be cautious about throwing that out just yet. So how else can we create some strategy here?
You might want to look at the backing of the carpet tool.
I was gonna say lifeguard, like kind of looking at the features that, Pet Perfect carpets have, as well as maybe the pile heights that carpets could carry, like a 1, 2, and 3, so that maybe you had like a softer looking back with a higher piled carpet, so that, the face weight is more and it would appear more cushiony before we got into the pad portion.
Okay.
And I might have.
All right. What else could we do?
I might have missed it, but I don't know, like through there, like when we were walking through, if we'd asked them like, hey, and we probably should already know this, but are there, are you gonna have any pets on the carpet? Are there gonna be any kids to worry about stains and stuff like that? That can also determine the type of carpet that we're gonna look at as well.
So my thought,
so
Clayton.
So to answer that question, 2 cats and a dog, no kids.
And my thought is exactly what Clayton just said, but between the warm up with John and my inspection video, I now get a feel for what I should be starting. So my strategy is what's important to John, identify that, and then come up with 3 options that deliver exactly what he's looking for based on my warm-up conversation and my exploratory questions, as well as my inspection video.
Okay.
But for you, we haven't done a warm-up conversation, but I know John likes value, functionality, and then I would go with an upgraded pad.
Yep. All right. So is there anything else that we can do to create 3 options? What else can we do? Because I'm afraid that what's going to end up happening is that we're going to have one option with a nice carpet and a nice pad, maybe even a lifeguard carpet and a nice pad. Then a second option, maybe we drop down from that a little bit. And by the time you get to the third option, you're sitting at you have nowhere to go. You're like, oh crap, I've got to use a standard pad here, but I don't want to do that because the number one thing is how we're going to stand on the carpet. So what else can we do to create another option here?
Rooms, you could make your room incredibly soft since you're standing there all the time. And we could build each room functionality driven relative to your needs in that room. So if the upgraded pad is too much for the entire house, then we just put it in that room and focus on maybe a different color or a different shag or a different pile for the rest of the house.
Now,
What else could we do?
If you set yourself that you want carpet and all there, if you take that out of the equation that you want carpet, is you could also now change on your option. You could stay with the same type of pad, but you could also show, hey, here's a 40 ounce, here's a 50 ounce, here's a 60 ounce. If you've already got on the carpet that you want.
You could also do 2 upgraded pads, do like maybe one with a Courage or something, full memory. Then do like a secondary, like option 2 or 1, I would probably say just 1, go down to like a Cherry. So it's still a good pad, it's above standard, but not quite as, break the bank. That way you can keep the carpet a little bit nicer on the look.
All right, what else?
You could look at nylons versus polyesters.
You guys are missing a big one. You guys are missing a big one.
I know we were missing something because you keep asking what else.
I keep asking.
Can't you do an option where you're doing the hallway and the stairs in the room you're in and drop that room that looked like it wasn't used that much?
You could. All right, let me expand your thinking a little bit, okay? I see you've got a hardwood floor. As you come into the front door of the house, have you ever considered doing hardwood stairs? You could do a hardwood staircase, which really, really makes the house pop when you walk in the front door. And then we can continue and just do the carpet exactly the way you want to do the carpet. Have you ever considered changing the tile in your bathroom? I know that this is a functional workspace for you. So I'm guessing that when you're up here working, that these are, that you take advantage of one of these 2 bathrooms. Have you ever considered changing the tile in your bathroom? Ask questions about scope. What's the worst thing that somebody can say? No, I don't really, I'm not really that interested in changing the stairs. I'm happy for them to be carpet. No, I'm happy with the tile that I've got. What's the harm in asking that question? Expand scope. My gosh, that's the easiest thing. Think about this. If you built option 1 and again, this is with the customer's permission. Now, you're not doing something that the customer is not asking for at that point. Have you ever considered changing the tile in the bathroom? Yeah, you know what? That's the same tile that was in here when we bought the house 12 years ago. I actually would like to change that. And you know what would happen if you asked me that question in this house? Now I'm going to tell you, and that's the same tile that's in the kitchen and the bathrooms downstairs. So if we do these 2 rooms, we need to do the ones downstairs too. Bam, all of a sudden this becomes a $30,000 project. Don't be afraid to ask scope questions. Have you considered changing the tile in this bathroom and upgrading the tile in the bathroom for it? The worst thing that they can say is, no, I just want to stick with the carpet. Okay, look for opportunities, because you pick out a carpet. Yeah, you're right. You could do a 60 ounce, 50 ounce, 40 ounce. What you're going to find is that there's so little price difference, you can't get the 20 or 25% drop. But you could do a proposal that had staircase, and this staircase would probably be $3,000 in hardwood. I know that the carpet, because I've actually done this exercise several times. This carpet that I would want with a Courage pad is going to be $10,000 or $12,000. And then you add the tile for these 2 bathrooms, you're probably pushing close to 18 grand to do all of that. But then you could easily say, well, I'll tell you what, let's just, let's leave the tile in the bathroom. That didn't seem like it was a big deal to you. So we're going to do a second proposal where it's the carpet and the stairs. And a third proposal, we're going to just stick with the carpet that you love, but we'll leave the carpet on the stairs for you. And look, I don't have to change product. I'm not running back and forth to the van to find another carpet that somebody loves, because we already picked the carpet that you love. All I'm doing is dropping rooms out to go from option 1 to option 2 to option 3. Don't be afraid to ask scope questions. All right, so now let's measure this space together. So we'll start with, now the way that I normally measure, and this is the way that I coach people to measure, I like to find the front of the house. Right, so if I'm in here, yep, there's the front of the house. It's always easy to find the front of the house. So I'm going to stand in this room and I'm going to face the front of the house when I do my drawing. Those of you that come from an engineering background, that's going to make the drawing upside down. I know that, but it's the easiest way when you're in the home to make sure that you're getting things the right way. How do I want to measure this room? So I've got door, I've got a closet. Open the closet. Yep, I can see there's the closet. Good stuff.
I would just box that whole thing out and put it in the closet.
That looks like a big box, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just include the closet in the square footage.
Yep. Is anybody in a disagreement? I mean, that closet belongs in just one big square, right?
That is correct.
Okay, good. So let's do it. So I'm going to create a training task, and I'm going to go straight away to the drawing screen, and I'm going to make a square. Now, one other thing that I want to point out, when you're measuring this, by the way, design associates, this is really important. If I tell you something different than what your franchise owner has told you, you need to listen to your franchise owner, okay? I'm going to give sort of a basic starter 101 for how to measure, but I also know that there's more complicated and more, let's say, precise ways to measure, but they don't really make a difference. So if your franchise owner has told you to do it a different way, you listen to your franchise owner. You work for them, you don't work for me. But this is the way that I normally measure. So I'm going to measure from the middle of the doorway. Or if I can't get to the doorway for some reason, because it happens to be at a window or whatever, it's okay for me to measure back to the drywall, but I'm going to add a couple of inches to make sure that I'm getting enough to go all the way back to the doorway. Here's cat number one. All right, so I'm going to get down here so that I can get a bead all the way over to where that window is. And I'm going to take the measurement from the wall to the other side of the wall. All right. Now, in InspireNet, I'm going to create a square room. And I'm going to put in the left-right measurement first. I actually measured it backwards. That's okay. So the left-right measurement is 10 feet, 11 inches, and what is that, 3/16. Well, 10 foot 11 and 3/16 is 10 foot 12, which would be 11 feet. And then front to back is 15.8 and some change. So I'm going to call that 15.9.
I was told to add 3 inches on each direction on carpet. So I would have made it like 11.3 and what was the other 15.9, 16.
Okay. Again, if your franchise owner has told you to do it a different way, then I want you to stick with what they told you. I will show you momentarily why I don't think that's needed anymore, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put a door in, and that door is actually on the other side. It doesn't really matter that much. That's okay. I'm going to move that over. And this is going to be a bedroom. And if you want, you can even customize it and say this is the girl's bedroom, because whatever you put there is going to end up showing in the proposal. All right, good. What's up, baby? Go across the hallway here. Let's take a look at this room. How do you want to measure this room?
Same thing.
Yeah. So
check the closet, just make sure.
Same.
I would imagine it's going to be the same.
Yep. So I can check the closet, and sure enough, The closet, that's the same wall that goes back that way, no problem. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna go left, right, front, back. I'm gonna stand facing the front of the house. So this is the way I'm gonna stand when I measure it. Go back to InspireNet. Let's measure this. Left to right. $13.10 and some change. So I'm gonna call that $13.11. And then front to back is going to be $13.11 and some change. So I'll call that 14. So we're going to make this 13.11 by 14 feet even. And we can call this the boys' bedroom. And if I like, I can put in the door, no problem. By the way, you can take pictures of these doors. So if you wanted to, you can create a photo, boom, there we go, bam, there's my photo of the door, good job. And that way that photo is right with the InspireNet. It goes to Salesforce and everything, and I can go back to the floor plan. And now I can kind of move this room down here to where it belongs. Questions so far? All right, silence is golden, so we're gonna move to the Zoom room. Once again, I've got to figure out, is this the front of the house or the back of the house? Very easy to do. I can look out the window. Yeah, looks like the back of the house to me. So I'm going to stand facing the front of the house. Stand facing the front of the house, measure left, right, front, back. Left, right. I'm just putting it right up against the drywall. Front, back from the middle of the doorway. So left, right, 11'5". Front, back, 12'9". And this can be, we can call this the office. If you like, I can put a door in, no problem with that. On the other side, that's good. Back to the floor plan. Okay, and we're moving right along. Let's measure a bathroom. So here's a little bathroom. The front of the house is that way, so I'll go in and here we go. Quick measurement here. Left, right. Now, when I measure left, right, are you going to measure to the back of the tub or are you going to measure to the front of the tub?
To the front of the tub.
Yeah, might as well, right? And when it comes to tile transitions, this is a great way to do a tile transition. It's just that little metal Schluter strip that's there. That way it protects the edge of the tile and the carpet can just tuck right up against it and it makes a nice clean edge. So let's measure this. Left, right is actually right here to the tub. And front, back. So it's 5 feet by 5 feet. And this can be called a bathroom. I can put the door in if you like. No problem with that. Let's switch it over to the other side. How about a takeout? Do we need to do a takeout for this little vanity?
No. On carpet, no.
No.
All right. I'm not going to put carpet in here.
Okay.
Yay.
Toilet takeout.
It seems like it
all right.
goes under it.
So I'm going to, I could do a takeout for the vanity. This is a small vanity, so it's probably not worth doing, but just for learning purposes, I can create a takeout, and that's just a standard cabinet, and it's only about 1 foot wide, so we're going to call that a standard cabinet called 1 feet. And if you like, I can take a picture of it so that we have, yep, that's what my takeout is. Good stuff. And let's get back to where we were. I didn't take the picture, but that's all right. And then items to move, I have a toilet that needs to be moved, right? So that's good. Gotta move the toilet. Now I have this bathroom, and this bathroom sits over here. Yes. All right, let's do the other bathroom real quick while we're doing bathrooms. So we have a bathroom. We've got a little linen closet, vanity. Then I come back here, turn on the light, another tub. So how do you want to handle this one?
Measure it in a square and just do a takeout.
All right, so you want to do all of it as a square? You want to do 2 squares, 3 squares? What do you want to do?
From wall to wall.
I think you could just do one and do a takeout for the counter, for the cabinet.
Sounds like a winner to me. So I'm going to go make a big square. Left to right, now I've got to reach up over the mirror. Front to back, I'm just going to bounce it against the front of the tub. So I've got 5 feet wide, and I've got 11 foot 5 deep. And this can also be a bathroom. And if you like, I can add the door, no problem with that. And a takeout. So if I add a takeout, all I'm going to do is measure the width, that total length of that vanity. It's 4'10" and 5/16. Call it 4'11". You can only put in a round footage. So I'm going to call this standard cabinets, and I'm just going to say it's 5 feet. 5 feet of standard cabinets. And again, if you like, you can add a photo, no problem. That way your installer knows what your takeout is or whatever. Items to move, there's a toilet to move, so we can add that. And we can go back to the floor plan and we can kind of move that where it belongs. That's on this side. No, it's not. Oh, look, I stood backwards, so my room's backwards. So let's turn my room around and put it where it belongs. That's better.
You always like to put that exactly how the layout is, because that's what I've been doing when I'm putting these together.
So I always leave a little space between the rooms. Otherwise they'll cover up numbers and it makes it hard to read the numbers. But I always want it to be roughly in the right shape. This is not going to be accurate enough to be able to, rebuild the house, but I don't need it to be. All I'm looking for is for this to be able to do some carpet, for crying out loud. All right, let's do the bonus room while we're up here. So again, we're going to walk through this and we're going to see what we've got. So we've got a little bump out there. Yep, we've got a closet that sticks out. Okay, so how do you want to measure this? Got to go crazy while we're doing this.
By the longest wall.
All right, so maybe make this a big square?
Yeah.
Might as well. So if I go left, right, and I go front to back. So I've got left to right, I've got 16'9". Front to back, I've got 21'5". Oops. All right, good. So I can confirm that, but it's not right. So I'm going to touch one of the walls that is not right, 21'5". Good, and make that change. And this is what we're going to call a frog bonus room. What's listed in here? Frog listed? How about bonus? Yes, bonus room is listed. Good. And if you like, I can put the door in, no problem. Now, I can put a takeout because that little bump out. So let's do a takeout. Let's go back into this room, go into the room menu. this little takeout that I'm talking about, this little bump out right here, okay, so this is about the width of standard cabinet. So if I just measure how long this is, that looks like it's 7'8". Just for whatever, I'll just put 7 feet in. And so I can do a takeout, if you like, call it standard cabinets and call it 7 feet and move on with life. It doesn't have to be that terribly complicated. And so that the installer knows what I'm talking about, I can do that. And go back to the floor plan and move that where it belongs. Good, we're moving right along. How about the stairs? Well, the stairs in the bonus room I'm going to come back to. Let's go to the stairs, the big stairs first. So how do we want to measure these?
Counting them?
Yeah, counting them. I like that. Okay, so let's count them. All right, we've got that's 14.
14. And
I'm going to count it as 15 because I need an extra riser. So I'm going to count this as 15 stairs. I come over here to stairs. Stairs. I'm going to call it 15 stairs. My width is easy enough to measure.
Looks like
3 feet 1 inch. They could call it 3 feet 2 inches. And frankly, unless it's something funny, I don't ever mess with the riser default or the tread default. 7 inches tall and 11 inches deep is pretty standard, but I do need to change at the bottom. This is a boxed straight staircase. And again, you can add a photo if you want to. You can put the stairs over here. One thing left to do is we got to do the hallway. So I've saved the best for last. How do you want to deal with this hallway? So I know that if I do carpet up here, I'm going to have a piece of carpet that's wide enough to be able to wrap this nose, right? So I actually want to measure from down here and go all the way around. The easiest way to do that is just to hold the laser back a little bit. You know, that's enough to wrap around, no problem. So I want to measure that width. But when I get, and you see you got a little cutout there, and then when I get to this side, well, that creates a little L shape. So now all of a sudden it looks like we're playing Tetris. So how do you guys want to measure this hallway?
The longest area by the width.
2 boxes.
Longest area with the including that closet back there.
Would you draw it?
There has to be a seam somewhere in it.
So I'm going to draw this twice. I'm going to do this 2 ways, okay? I'm going to draw this 2 ways. The first way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to call it a box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk down here. I'm going to think of this as one big piece of carpet, okay? So I'm going to walk down to this side, and I'm going to hold my laser back away from the stair like this so that I have enough to wrap, and I'm going to simply point to that drywall over there and avoid the cat. This is fun.
Laser time.
She's going crazy. All right. And now, so I got 4'10" doing that. And now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to measure and then add a little bit to get into the middle of the doorway. Okay. So I've got, you won't be able to see it very well. I've got 4'10" and a little bit, and 1'2" and a little bit. So 4'10", 1'2", 5. That sounds a lot like 6 feet.
6'6".
Okay. So I'm gonna measure from here all the way to that door. Okay, so I can come inside here and I can measure all the way to that door. and that's 20 feet, 23 foot 7.
What's behind the door?
So I'm going to create, behind that door is closet attic space, but let's take a look. Good call. So 23 foot 7 and 6. And this is going to be my hallway. All right, so that's one way that I'm going to draw it. Just to show you guys, it actually terminates right there anyway. And this is attic space. So yes, that's something that I would do in the customer's home to make sure that I was seeing the right thing. Good. All right, so that's one way I can do it. The other way I can do it is I can be, I can waste a lot of time, but that's okay. I'm going to hit the draw button. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this out. So let's say I touch the screen, touch the screen, touch the screen. I'm not worried about trying to make this exact, but I'm going to make this weird shape. And you'll see it, it's not going to come out exactly right because I'm going to round places. Every time I round up, twice, I'm adding extra stuff. So that's 3 foot 11. This 1 foot, call it 1 foot 2. This long wall is 19.8. That was 5 foot 10. Then measure this little guy here. 7 foot 10. Oops, not 7.1. Undo the last wall. 7 foot 10. And this is a rather difficult measurement because I don't really have anything to bounce it against. So I'm going to have to bounce it against the edge of the tablet. I bounce it against the foot. Daisy, you're not helping me here. So call it 1 foot 8. Close enough. And then this wall is going to be 15.7. And it's not exact. Hit confirm. So if I take a look at this, that last wall should probably be like 15.8. That's okay. I can make that little change and square it up a little bit. No problem. I can call this hall 2. Okay. So which one of these do you like better?
The straight.
So if we were going to do luxury vinyl plank or hardwood or tile or something in that hallway, you've got 141 square feet one way and 115 square feet the other. Are you worried about that?
Yes, if it's luxury vinyl.
Yeah, that's a pretty big difference, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, that's big enough that I want to make an adjustment. So how could I make an adjustment? If I'm measuring this, but I really don't want to take the time to do all that weird drawing, what can I do?
Do a takeout.
Minimize waste factor.
Yeah. I could do a takeout here. So if instead I could come in here and I could say, you know what? This looks a lot like a standard cabinet. I mean, that kind of looks like a cabinet and it goes down the hallway. And I might even consider this a cabinet. Okay. So if I measure this long wall, batteries are going. Always keep a set of batteries with you. So that was 19.8. Now this is only about let's say this is about a half a cabinet. So I've got just to make the math easy, I'm going to call it 20 feet is this long wall. And then this other wall is going to be 15 feet. But because that looks like a half a cabinet to me, I'm only going to take half of that. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, for this hallway, let's create a takeout and let's add a new takeout. So I've got a standard cabinet and the first one was 19 feet. That's good. And I'm going to add a second takeout and that's a standard cabinet. And that was 15 foot and some change. Let's just call it 7 feet. Okay. Because the width of it is only like half a cabinet. Okay, good. All I'm trying to do is adjust my square footage anyway. So now let's go back to the floor plan and see what that does. What do you think? 96 feet versus 115 feet.
Now you're too
It's not
short.
that bad. Yeah, but I mean, how short am I? I'm 19 square feet too short. That's within a box.
That's a box.
I don't care. It's within a box. I don't care.
Depending
If
on how
that
good
bothers
the
you,
installers are.
but I'm not going to buy I'm not buying 96 square feet.
True.
I've got a 10% waste factor,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to end up buying more anyway. Now, if you feel like, you know what, that's too tight. Okay, no problem. Let's go into that room menu again. And maybe we only do one of the takeouts. So you don't want to cut yourself too short. So let's delete the second takeout. 108 versus 115. I can live with that. I can live with that. Okay. So my point is, there's no reason to go into the detail of working up all that. Now, what if this is carpet? Is it going to change anything for carpet? Not really, because all that little space, you know, if I lay one on top of the other, what are you going to do with that little bit of space? You can't do anything with that little bit of carpet that's there.
It's going to be waste.
If you were to roll it, it's just waste anyway. Now, yes, if you draw out the hall, it's going to look like it's more waste on the tablet, but it's a fictitious number anyway. I need enough carpet to be able to do the job. Okay. So we've measured the space, and let's just, now your numbers and my numbers are going to be very, very different because this is a training box and, you know, it doesn't work the same. I need to pick all these spaces and put in space info. And I'm just going to leave it default. I don't care. I mean, I care, but for the moment, I don't. Space info here. We're removing tile on backer board. And this is still the plywood subfloor, but there's no furniture in the bathroom, so we can take that out. And we can move on to creating an option. So I'm just going to quickly create a couple of options here. Let's say that option 1, I'm going to put carpet, and I'm going to use my square box and I'm not going to worry with the one that's drawn out. I'm just going to use my square box, and I'm going to say, let's set the install info, and this is going to be carpet. And I'm going to use Courage carpet pad, and just for the time being, so I don't know exactly which one we're going to pick out yet, but I'm just going to load this with a PG3 carpet to get started so that I just have something in there. And then how about the bathrooms? Well, maybe the bathrooms, we decided that we were going to do, you know, we're going to take that out. We're going to take the tile out, but we're going to put luxury vinyl in. That's good. I don't know which luxury vinyl. We'll just put a PG3 in there to start with. And we can float that.
I have a quick question about the carpet. Does it make any difference if, like, which way you lay out the carpet? Do you need to be in the same direction, or you could just randomly
no,
measure?
the carpet has to be in the same direction.
So if
which
you
is
start
why it's
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Which is why it's important that the rooms are drawn. So I mean, if you're sitting in my house and you're looking at this, the top of the screen is the front door. That's why it's so important that you keep consistent left, right, front, back. So this hallway sits
I mean, if I did this one, it sits in between there. Let's go back to the drawing screen for a second. Yes, I know, but I want to visually, if I put that in here, that's the way that this upstairs is. This is the one that we're using for estimating though. I'm just going to use this box. So I'll move that one out of the way, but this is the one that, that we're actually going to use for estimating purposes. Now, if the carpet runs left to right, then it has to run left to right in all of these spaces. If the carpet runs front to back, it has to run front to back in all of these spaces. Okay, so this is my option number. Oh, I didn't want to do carpet on the stairs. I want to do hardwood on the stairs. So let's set this install info again, and this time I'm going to do hardwood on the stairs. Good. And now I can complete option, and I can see where we are. And I'm not going to worry about making adjustments. I'm just going to leave it like it is. And I've got $16,000 as option number 1.
On the hardwood, I'm just curious because I think and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I think I made a mistake where I was putting like an example together. No, when you take the carpet off the stairs and you put the hardwood on the stairs, when you get into that complete option, don't you need to add a sand and finish on there as well?
Not if I use pre-finished stairs.
Okay, so you're talking pre-finished ones. Okay.
Yep. And I'm going to pre-finish. When I do hardwood, I'm going to do pre-finished everywhere in the world. Man, I hate sand and finish. It's such a big mess. It takes forever. It's annoying to the customers. It's going to take them out of their house for a week. I don't know why in the world I would ever want to do a sand and finish. I don't want to do it unless I have to match up with something else or whatever. Yes, I know there's reasons that you would do it, but my gosh, in a case like this, I'm going to match the stairs up to the wood that's downstairs, which is going to be fairly easy to do. It's a standard color, and bam, off we go. All right, so I've got option 1. Option 2, what do you think? How do you want to build option 2?
Take out the bathroom group too.
Add the tile or,
right.
And the
all right,
stairs.
so let's take out the bathrooms. Let's take out the bathrooms. So option 2, I'm going to click on the little duplicate button under option 1. Now I have exactly the same thing. I'm going to select the 2 bathrooms, and I get this little X at the bottom that says remove from option, so I can remove those 2 from the option. And now I have, boom, I go from 15.6 to 12.7. That's a $3,000 drop. I like that drop. Okay, I can hit complete option. If I have to make some adjustments, I can make some adjustments. I'm not worried about that right now. Good, so how do I get to option 3? Well, option 3, I said, let's put carpet on the stairs. So I'm gonna duplicate option 2. And now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna select my stairs and hit set install info. And I'm gonna change this to carpet. And I'm gonna select a PG3 carpet. And I've got, look at that. I've gone from 15.7 to 12.7 to 10.8. I'm happy with that price gap. Now, if I get into this and I have to make some adjustments, I have to pick a different product, I have to do whatever, that's fine. Look, if you really want to run this seaming tool, I can go to option 1, I can hit complete option, and I can come down and I can run the seaming tool. Right now, what is my waste factor for carpet?
%.
Okay, and what is my total price for the job?
15,600.
Okay, so 15,692. All right. So now let's run the seaming diagram. So I'm going to click the, not in the bathrooms. I'm going to go to the here, and I'm going to click the little calculator so I can run the seaming diagram. Okay. I'm just going to run it optimal. So when I hit yes here, let's go look at the seaming diagram first. So who was it that said that you had to add 3 inches? Mike did. Okay. Yeah, Mike, notice what it's doing here. The linear length says it's 11'9" by a certain amount. So the tablet is automatically taken 3 inches out of the carpet. So you can add 3 inches if you like, but now you're actually making a 6-inch adjustment.
Okay.
And it might be that Charles doesn't know that because that's a new thing.
I would let him know. Yeah, I didn't think he knew that.
All right. So now let's take a look. What is my waste factor now for the carpet?
10%.
10%.
10%. And what is the total for my job?
15.
035.
35.
So by running the seaming diagram in this particular case, and not in every case, because it all depends on the geometry and, you know, how the carpet lays out, whatever else. But in this particular case, we saved $550. So, and I mean, you didn't save $550. You saved the customer $550. So you took their project price from $15,600 to $15,000 for, you know, roughly $550 difference. And I'm going to argue with you that if you can't sell it at $15,600, you're not going to be able to sell it at $15,000 either. That $500 difference is not going to make a difference on whether or not you sell the job. So Dan, that's why I was saying earlier, I just don't bother running the seaming tool. Now, when you get back to the office, run the seaming tool so that only on the ones that you landed. That $500 is not going to make the difference between whether you land the job or not. Now, design associates, you have to go by what your franchisee tells you. If they want you to run it, okay? So I'm not going to get in an argument with your franchise owner. Everybody seems to fall into their own way of doing estimating. So that's why I don't spend a lot of time on estimating in this class, because everybody has a little different way of doing it. So lean on your franchise owner for what it is that they want you to do. Some of them absolutely want you to run the seaming diagram. I actually tell people don't bother. I told my DAs don't bother with a seaming diagram. I even told people it doesn't work. Well, it does work, but the reality is it doesn't matter. That $500 is not going to make a difference on whether you land the job or not.
But that is gonna protect you as far as the lay of the carpet, making sure that you've got enough to put everything in the correct direction. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
And if you
if I want,
it's covered.
Yep. If you forget something, it's covered. You can see the seaming diagram. You can see how the tablet seamed it. You say, you know what? I don't really like it. When I run it horizontally like this, I end up with these weird key seams in the bedroom. Let's run it vertically instead. Okay, so I can click on the little calculator, and this time at the top, I'm going to say I want to run it vertically instead. Okay, let's run it vertically. Now what's it going to do? Okay, now it's going to run this way. All right, and now I have a seam in the hallway. I got to have a seam somewhere, so I'm either going to have a T seams in the boys' bedroom, or I'm going to end up with a seam in the hallway. Okay, one way or the other, I'm going to end up with seams. So what does this do to me? Well, this took me to a 14.8% waste, so a little bit more waste, and it took my total price to $15,004. So if you have the discussion with the customer and they're like, no, I really don't like the T-seam, or maybe you don't even have the discussion with the customer. It's more of an installer question. No, I hate doing T-seams. Okay, good. Then we're going to run the carpet vertically instead of horizontally, which makes my project price $15,432 at a 14.8, call it a 15% waste factor. Oh, well, crap, I should have just left it alone. I mean, we're talking about a $200 difference.
And
if you can't sell a $15,000 job, that $200 isn't going to make a difference.
You bring up a good point. And I know between you and I know we've got at least one former installer on the call. Do you ever open up that seam preference can of worms unless they seem to know what they already, have an opinion on it?
With the customer, no.
With the customer.
I don't with the customer.
Okay.
Nope, not unless. So maybe you came into my house, maybe, and I came to you and I said, you know what? One of the things that I absolutely hate, I can see this seam in the hallway, and it drives me nuts every time I go by there. Okay.
It does too.
Well, yeah, I can see it. Frankly, it doesn't bother me. I really don't care. And we had this exact dilemma. It was where we put the seams, and it was Well, I'm either going to have this big long seam in this room that goes across, and you know, people can tell you you're never going to see the seam. The reality is, at some point in time, you're always going to see the seam. So you know what? Seams are a part of life. So in the end, don't get caught up in the poo-poo. There you go. Don't get caught up in the poo, and just, you know, this is why I told my design associates, don't bother with the seaming diagram. Now, you guys, I'm going to say this again, and it's recorded, so I know I can come back to it if I have to. You have to go with what your franchise owner tells you. If they say run the seaming diagram, then run the seaming diagram. But for my franchise owners that are on the call, a lot of times I just tell you, don't bother with it, because in the end, it's not going to make a material difference to the price of the project. In fact, if I were to go back here and actually do something that will matter, I don't need any transition strips in this job. You know, I drew doorways, but I left the transition strips in. Well, that's $43 for the transition strip. And what about installing my transition strip? Okay, that's free. So it's not a big, it's not really a big deal, but you know, I probably don't need to have those listed in there. Anyway, the point is, run the seaming diagram, don't run the seaming diagram. I leave that to you. It is a tool that's available. It does work, but in terms of landing a job, it doesn't matter. In terms of producing a job, it matters. Okay, so maybe you end up running it later. All right, we've gone. I think this is good. I hope this was a good exercise for you guys. Again, lean on your franchise owner. If they told you to measure differently, then measure the way they told you. Okay, I can't be in conflict with the way that they want you to do it. We're going to take a break and grab something to eat. So let's see, where are we on time? Yeah, it's 2:12. We're going to come back at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to give you guys 45. I appreciate you staying in with me. I know we went longer today before a decent sized break. So get something to eat, answer emails, make phone calls, whatever, and I will see you back here at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Hey, Arlen. Alyssa messaged in the group me saying that her Wi-Fi dropped and she needs to be let back in.
Oh, I see. There's actually 3 people out there. Okay.
Wow, holding everyone hostage.
Thank you. Good.
Arlen, can I ask you a question while you're on the phone?
Yeah.
And then I promise I'll let you go do some stuff. If you're doing like a condo, let's say in a upper floor, and there's a requirement from the HOA to have some sort of specific underlayment, like a cork underlayment or something. I know some of the LVP already has a underlayment built into it, right?
It does.
So how do you know if you need more than what's already included on the board?
So a lot of your HOAs are going to tell you sorry, this thing drives me crazy when it's bouncing. A lot of your HOAs or the condo rules are going to have a specific sound abatement number that you're trying to hit, right?
Okay.
So they're going to tell you it's a STC of 72 or something along those lines, right? There are actual decibel tests that are done, and you have to meet a certain number. Now, some condos say you have to use this specific underlayment. Most of them don't want to give you a specific underlayment. They want to give you a number and say you have to meet this decibel. I can go into here, and Shaw has a. Let's go back. Again, it doesn't have to be Shaw. I pick on Shaw because they tend to give us really, really good resources, and it makes it really easy. So if I go to Shaw and I pull up Shaw's underlayment list, they have a sundries list. Let's do this again. Might be in the TotalWorks catalog. That's new.
I think I remember you showing us that before, and it was called something sundries.
There it is, Shaw Sundries and Accessories Guide. Okay, so if I open this guy up, you're going to find and let's just go down to the underlayments. There we go. All right, so you'll notice that like they've got a cork underlayment, Celotac. So Celotac has an IIC rating of 69 decibels and an STC rating of 66 decibels. So that's what you're looking for. Those condos are going to tell you it has to meet IIC 72 or STC 60, 75 or something. So it's giving you an actual number, and most of your underlayments are going to give you an actual number. If it's an underlayment that's designed to absorb sound, they're going to give you an actual number that you know you can work with. Where's my silent step? This is another good one. So silent step will get you 72 decibels on IIC and on STC. All right, so this silent step ultra is really good. So you could take this and you could put it down and then put your LVT on top of it that has an underlayment, and you're going to be over 72.
Okay. So my friend is
and a lot of your LVPs, a lot of your LVPs are also going to show you, not all of them, but a lot of your LVPs, when you look at the spec sheet, they're going to show you that this is what your sound abatement properties are for this particular product. So maybe they've only got 10. Okay, well, I can take the 10 and add it to the 72. I know I've got 82.
Okay. So my friend was asking, she's looking to replace her carpet with LVP in her condo. And she said that they told her she had to have a 1/2 inch cork underlayment. They didn't tell her any of this other stuff. But if that's the case, then it looks like our option for Shaw in this example would be this cork underlayment.
Well, yeah, so this cork underlayment is only about 1/8 of an inch thick. So you're going to have to find a cork underlayment that's a 1/2 inch thick, which is really, really overkill. But if the condo is specifically requiring a 1/2 inch underlayment, then that's what you're going to have to do. And you would glue that underlayment down to she's going to have it's a lightweight type of concrete. She's going to have like a lightweight concrete as a subfloor. And you're going to glue the cork underlayment to that and then put the LVT on top of the cork underlayment.
Okay. Okay. And then this is probably a really dumb question that I should know the answer to, but when you're looking at subflooring, is there, like, when does it make a huge difference if it's OSB versus concrete versus, or OSB versus like a plywood? I know concrete's its own animal, but does it matter if it's OSB versus plywood in terms of installation usually?
No, OSB and plywood, from an installation perspective, OSB and plywood are the same thing.
Okay.
Particle board is different.
Particle board obviously is a hot mess.
Particle board is crap, but OSB and plywood is, from a flooring perspective, is exactly the same thing.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yep. All right. See you in a little bit.
Okay.
And we'll go ahead and get restarted here. So I'm going to keep an eye on the waiting room. There's Anthony coming in. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So we're going to jump right in. So let's see. Before we took a break, we went through an exercise where we measured the space. So we went through an exercise where we measured the space. And we wrote 3 options. All right. Before we measured the space, we inspected the space. And before we inspected the space, you guys had an opportunity to do a warm-up with somebody. So we did our warm-up, we inspected the space together, we measured and created 3 options. So what's sort of the next phase of this process? Gotta wake everybody back up.
Ask the question.
Pre-close.
Question.
Company story. Right?
Yeah, we got a pre-close. Man, that's great, but we're not there yet. So now we're gonna come in and we gotta do the company story, right?
Yeah, company story.
Okay. So let's think about this physically. What does this look like? Came to the house, knocked on the door, walked in, sat down, had a nice warm up with the person, asked some transition questions, and we went out and looked at the space together. Found out that they were interested in changing out the carpet upstairs. They wanted something soft and squishy to stand on. Maybe do the bathrooms, maybe do the stairs. We'll just see. So we measured and we came up with 3 options. I've gone out to the van and I've pulled some samples out of the van. And so we're going to come and we're going to talk about samples. But before we talk about samples, we're going to sit down and have a conversation about the company story. But this is not going to sound like just any other company story. This is going to be a very personal company story. So, Alyssa, you and Amelia work together. Think about the slides of the company story. How could you tailor one of those slides? Just pick one. How could you tailor one of those slides so that when you deliver that one slide, it is uniquely pointed towards Amelia and nobody else? So what was a couple of things that you said about Amelia that, this is unique about her?
She's not like, she's not out to get like the latest and greatest, best thing on the planet, the hype thing, right? She wants something practical that's gonna keep up with her and her needs and have longevity to it, while also being cost effective. She's never going to be the cheapest person, but she's never going to be the most expensive person either, for my take. So see, and this is where I really struggle. I'm like, yeah, what slide would go with her? Because this is where I just start drawing blank.
Okay.
Like,
all right, so let's just let's think about this together. Let's work through this together. So you said that, got my notes behind me, that she really enjoys experiences. She's a minimalist. She wants things that last, right? She's not going to go for the latest trends. She's wanting something that's going to last. Okay. So where in the company story could we talk about something that's going to last, or something that is going to help her with experiences? Where can we pull that out? So let's just take a look. This is what I love about my job. Our promise is to provide the best flooring experience. That sort of rings a bell. We're all about service. We're all over the place. We've got 4.8 out of 5 stars, which is not common in this industry. This is how we earn our stars. We're trusted, we're licensed, we're insured. Let me share with you a little bit about the installation process. We've got the installation video. How do you choose? So you got a ton of different options out there. What's the right way to choose the perfect flooring store? Well, we're manufacturer direct, which means that we're going to absolutely control where your products are coming from and how they get to you. We price differently than the way that our competitors price. We give a straightforward price instead of bait and switch. We make the process easy, and we're not happy until you're happy. So let's pick out your perfect floors. There's your company story in about 30 seconds. So where does it make sense to try to tie in something about Amelia to the company story?
I think on the Better Business Bureau slide is one opportunity. I'm not saying it's the only one, but I could work it in there, I think.
All right, so do it, Timothy. you're pitching to Amelia. We already know that she's about experiences, minimalist, she's things that last, cats. Okay, so we got a chance to know something about her. So how would you pitch this slide to Amelia, knowing what you know?
I literally would just read off the slide. Amelia, out of 10.7 million complaints in the home improvement and remodeling contractors, are number one on the hit list for the Better Business Bureau. You said that it was very important for your product to last. So it's important that you know that 80% of the customers that went with the lowest bid wound up having major problems completing the job. That's why I chose, this product, or that's why we moved in this direction. That was
Okay.
my thought.
All right. Let's workshop this a little bit because I want to help Alyssa be able to tie these things together, right? So how would somebody else pitch any slide? I don't care, pick a slide. Pick a slide and let's pitch this slide to Amelia knowing what we know about her.
I would choose slide 12, the manufacturing direct.
All right. Let's do it.
Like you said, we work with manufacturing direct. You want something that's going to last, that's durable, and that's why I chose this for you.
All right, good. I mean, keep it simple, right, Portia?
Yeah.
This doesn't have to be a 20-minute discussion on one slide. Good. All right. How else could we do it? Somebody pick a different slide.
I like the previous slide we were just on with the BBB and the complaints. And just like the last one was saying, is just like, yeah, 80%, of the home improvement industry has bad reviews and they go with the cheapest price. And it's really, your product is only as good as your install. So we're not going to be, the cheapest price because we're paying our installers to care, for that floor to last.
Nice. Okay.
I jumped around a little bit, team, here. My appointment last night, which was also my evaluation, I found that it was I jumped ahead, and I think regionally, territorial area, everybody has their own niches. And for Vegas, it's very, horrible follow-up, horrible customer service, in-home sales. So I think I did a lot of chatting about all of those high points and should have saved it for this moment.
Okay. So David, if you were to pitch a slide to Amelia based on what we know about her, because we can't pitch this to everybody the same way, right? We want this to be Amelia's slide. So which slide would you pitch and how would you do it?
Now, clarify, please. Am I suggesting based on what's important to Amelia, how she would present this, or am I presenting a slide to Amelia as a customer?
You're the design associate. Amelia is your customer.
Okay. Amelia, real quick, give me your top 3 things you want from a vendor.
Again, not cheap, but definitely not the most expensive. I just want durability. I have 2 boys and I raise right now 4 cats and a mom. So something that has a lot of scratch resistance. And of course, waterproof, because this would be going throughout my entire home.
Thank you, Amelia. And you said again, so I apologize for not hearing you the first time. Then I would use the slide. You're on the 80%. Can you go to, I think it's 1 or 2 before this or the one after?
Which one do you want?
Just keep going. No, I'm sorry. It might be the one right after then. I guess it could do that one. Oh.
What? Too far. The stars?
So I think this talks about what I would say to Amelia as I was walking through the slides, and I would say that we're going to be able to, because of the mobile showroom, we're going to be able to fit all of her needs into. Now, I would absolutely review everything, obviously, but as far as what's important to Amelia, just the service, the quality install. Listen, Amelia, just so you know, you can have the best product in the world, but if it's installed incorrectly, it doesn't mean anything. So installation is such a big part of that product longevity, durability. And, you know, our install teams in Vegas, we have direct teams. I'm not sure if that's the model across the country, but I think that's what I would focus on in this particular case and try to lean on what's important to her and take out of the slide how I can present it back with her relevance.
Okay. All right.
I have
Somebody else.
yeah, I could either do this slide or I could do the second slide right after my job. It would
All right,
really
let's
work
do
in
the second
either
slide.
case.
Yep. All right. So do this one, Mike.
So I did this to say, well, Amelia, you know, you've indicated to me that you value quality, value, and having a good experience. Well, it's our promise to provide you the best flooring experience in North America. Part of that experience, like everything else, is what I do with you. I am your single point of contact through the entire job. You're going to explain and I'm going to understand everything you want done, how you want it done. I'm going to relay that personally to the installers on the day they start your job when we're out here together. And I'm going to come back with you and walk the job after we're done to make sure that everything is done not only to my satisfaction, but to yours.
Good. All right. Now I know Amelia's got an appointment that she's running off to, so we'll give her a break. That's good, Mike. So the point here is I want to key in on 2 or 3 things that she said during the warm up, right? And it's not really the product, it's her. So she said she values experiences. She said that, you know, that she wants things that last. You can do this on any one of these slides, right? You can do it on any slide. You can pick a slide and you can talk about the merits of Floor Coverings International and how it relates specifically to her. So let's jump to David and John. So David, you worked with John. If my notes say that you talked about voting, you talked about value, you talked about functionality driven, you talked about rate of return. So pick a slide and pitch the slide to John, specifically about what you know about John.
Okay, go ahead and go to the stars.
This
John,
one or this one?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, just to change it up because I could use this, but I'm going to go back to the reviews.
Got it.
John, our reviews are individualized. Remember, so we have a ton of people out there, and we're delivering what's important to them. I think that's important to remember. And because, John, your functionality, longevity, the expertise from your engineering kind of thought process, our install teams are the ones driving these stars as well as our solutions in the front end. And I think it really speaks to how we deliver what's important to the guest, because all of our guests are coming back with, wow, they delivered what they told me they were going to deliver. And that was important to me. And John, you'll be sending that review with hopefully my name on it right when we're done.
Okay. All right. Not bad. So John, we talked about voting, we talked about value, we talked about ROI, we talked about functionality driven. Somebody else, give it a shot. Pitch any slide to John and incorporate something about what we learned about John in the warm-up. All right, let me give it a shot. Let me take the, I don't know. Let me take the manufacturer direct slide.
Yeah,
Just for fun. Okay, so let's go from this one. John, you know, earlier we were talking about your boat, and one of the reasons that you chose the boat that you did was because you felt like it gave you the best value. It wasn't the cheapest boat on the lot, but it was the boat that gave you the best value. Well, one of the things that our customers, that Floor Coverings International customers tell about us is that we deliver exceptional value. We're not typically the cheapest people that come in, but we're manufacturer direct, and we offer first quality products that you might not see from other places because we want to make sure that you're getting the best value for your money. That make sense?
It does. I think in this case, I think that slide will speak to John more than the other slides. And then with the Vegas twist, I would just talk about the installs being such a key to those warranties and product quality.
Sure. Yep. you can expand from that. So my point is, I want to take something that I learned about John in the warm up. So let's see. Portia, you were with Anthony. I don't know if Anthony has rejoined with us or not. I don't see him on the screen right now, but Portia, some of the things that you said about Anthony, he likes to travel. He's got 2 kids. All right. So pick a slide and pitch a slide that only could be, I mean, you could only say it to Anthony. There's nobody else you could say this to.
That's hard because he was very quiet. I guess it's just, getting him to talk more. So introducing myself to him, it'll probably be like slide 1.
Okay, let's go to slide 1.
And so I would say thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you what I believe will be the best solution for your flooring needs. Before I begin, I'd like to thank you for letting me come into your home. The reason why I chose Floor Coverings International, sorry, let me see. If you were, sorry, I'm reading what I wrote, but I would just say our promise to you is to provide the best flooring. You told me about your home and you told me about how your family gave you this home. So my promise to you is that I will make sure to solve your flooring solutions because this is an example or representing your family.
Okay. All right.
Something like that.
Here's the thing. There's not one right answer. Okay. In any of this, there's not one right answer. All I'm trying to do is I want the company's story to sound different every time you say it. If you say the same thing over and over again, if you memorize a script, even if it's your own script, you memorize the script, you say the same thing, use the same stupid jokes at the same place every time, you're going to get bored with it. After doing it about 6 times, you're going to get bored with it. And either 1, you're going to stop doing it because you're bored with it, or 2, it's not going to resonate with the customers because they've sensed that you're bored. It's like, okay, I have to check a box. And if they're bored, then you're going to get the feedback from them, oh, this is boring. Why am I doing this? And you'll quit doing it. But we all recognize that this is how we're going to differentiate ourselves. So how are you going to pull your customer in, right? So I might say, like in Amelia's case, Amelia talked about experiences. Amelia, the thing that I love about my job, I worked in the world of manufacturing for over 25 years. And in that period of time, we had happy customers and we had upset customers. And I've never found an organization that really, really promoted customer service the way that Floor Coverings International does. Matter of fact, it's written into our promise, and our promise is to provide you the best in-home flooring experience in North America. Now, you talked about you really, really like good experiences. And the experience that we deliver is very different than what you're going to find with our competitors. Where our competitors are going to come in, they may even be cheaper than us, but it's really, oftentimes my customers tell me that working with a competitor is a hassle. And what we want to do is just make this a very pleasant experience for you so that you can add this to your list of experiences. Now, we are all about service, boom, and then we keep on going. All right, it doesn't have to be those words. The whole point is I want to take something that I learned about somebody else. So John says, Anthony says he likes to travel. Can we work travel in any one of these slides? What do you think?
Yeah, you probably could.
You can.
Because if he travels with a travel agent, they're going to go through this same stuff. Why pick me?
Well, yeah, but that's it. I mean, maybe he doesn't use a travel agent. I don't want to make that assumption. Look, I might pick on this one. Hey, we've done business for 400,000 customers. We've got over 200 locations across North America. There's a good chance that as you travel, that you're within a couple of miles of a Floor Coverings International store somewhere around the country. Now, I know when you go on vacation, you're not going to look at flooring, but my point is that this gives us the opportunity to understand what's going on all around the country, just like as you travel, you're figuring out what's going on all around the country. I don't know, whatever, throw something out there and see what sticks.
Or you could pitch it as, people get stuck in airports all the time. You don't want to get stuck in your job, and you could go into that Better Business Bureau slide.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, you could absolutely get stuck there, right? let's see, I love this slide because this slide, how we earn our stars, this slide is so versatile. You could use it for just about anything, right? You can
I
tie
love
just
that
about
slide.
anything to this slide. You know, how do we earn our stars? So think about these 3 slides as being together. This is like a mini story within the story. We have 4.8 stars. The industry sucks. This is how we earn our stars. All right, so how do we earn our stars? You know, we've got the mobile flooring showroom. I know one of the things that's really important to you is that you're not wasting a ton of time doing stuff. You'd much rather get out there and travel again. So we're just going to make sure that this is a seamless thing. We're a local team that you can trust. We're going to make sure that we communicate with you. Matter of fact, I've got a lot of customers that do travel when we do the job because they just don't want to be in the house when we've got it all torn up. And we make sure that we're communicating with you as if you were right there with us. I mean, I don't know, that might work.
Yeah.
Alyssa, give me another bullet point. Doesn't have to be about Amelia. Give me a bullet point about some other customer that you've dealt with.
Oh, one of my customers one time, and I've never had this happen before. She said, I will only buy from you if it's made of recycled material. I'm very eco-friendly.
Okay. All right. So where could you pull that into the company story?
You might be able to put into the manufacturing direct slide. A lot of the LVP products are, I'm guessing if they're plastic, some of that plastic's recycled. I'd have to fact check it, but that's my guess.
Yep. So Alyssa, I might look at that customer, and again, I'm not presenting product yet. Product is coming, and I can show the customer on this specific product the recycling data and whatever else. That's fine. But right now, I'm doing the company story because I want her to know that we're the right company. The reality is, every company out there has products that are recycled. Every company has products that are recyclable, and every company has products that are neither. Okay, good. You have products that fall in all 3 of those categories. So it's not like you have some exclusive product that's made out of recycled material that nobody else has. No, every flooring company has similar things. So what am I doing? I want to make sure that she knows that I heard what she said. And so let me pitch this slide this way. I like this slide, Timothy. I think this is a good one to pick. You know, we're manufacturer direct, and earlier you were telling me that you wanted to absolutely make sure that you were getting something that was made out of recyclable material. Well, one of the nice things about being manufacturing direct is that we know exactly who we're getting it from and exactly how it was made. A lot of times flooring companies order through distributors and they don't really know what they're getting until they get it. With us, we know exactly what we're getting, exactly when we're getting it. And so we have sort of a quality control of what we're getting to make sure that if we pick a product that's a recycled material product, that it actually is.
Okay.
And that's true. That, by the way, that's 100% true. I can't tell you how many times I've had customers that told me that they bought from Lowe's or they bought from Home Depot, and when it came time to do the job, Lowe's or Home Depot had completely lost their material and had to reorder it. So they sold it to somebody else, right? Oh yeah, we had your carpet, but we sold it to somebody else. I got frustrated with a customer, so I was dealing with the daughter, but the mother is in her 80s. And so the daughter and the daughter's husband had gone over to the mother's house and had cleared all the furniture out of the way. This is a woman in her 80s to get this carpet done. All the furniture had been cleared out of the way. And then, you know, the daughter goes to work. The installers never show up. And then, so she calls back to Lowe's. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, we had your carpet, but we sold it to somebody else. So we're going to have to reschedule. Never called her to tell her what was going on. That's common. Yeah. That's common, right? So now this 80-some-year-old woman has to deal with the fact that she's in her house, her furniture's all torn, her house is all torn up, her furniture's not in the right place, and they got to redo everything and do it all over again. What a pain in the butt that is. So it's not that we have, and this is something that I want to be careful about. Yes, we have great products, no question. No question, we have great products. But so do other people. Okay, other people have great products too. What do we deliver that's different? We deliver an experience that's different. Okay, so I want to focus in on what that experience looks like. You are selling an experience even more so than you're selling floors. One day, so all of you are new. One day you're going to realize that we are a sales and marketing company and we just happen to sell floors. All right. Somebody else give me a customer that they worked with recently. Tell me a little bit about the person, and let's see how we could tailor the company story to that person.
One of my first appointments, we communicate to each other as Plant Lady and Plant Guy. She has very well manicured front lawn and flowers, and her home is beautiful plants and well taken care of. She likes simple, clean lines. She likes quality. She's been in Vegas for a long time, so she knows that, you know, she needs longevity in her companies. And communication. I think communication is a huge issue, like you said about Lowe's, but ultimately it happens with every company in Vegas because it's so transient that people just come and go, and so do companies.
Okay, so where would you go? What slide would you want to hone in on that?
I like the stars, the listing stars.
Yeah, good one.
I'm just a big fan of that one because not only can you discuss what is important to the customer, but then you can, you know, bring something up that they might say to you, oh, you know what, I never even thought of that. So I like that one because it kind of goes through everything that we can present to them from their point of view.
Perfect. Yep. So if communication was a big deal, how could you pitch this slide specifically around communication being a big deal?
So in Vegas, again, I'm just using territorial information. A gentleman just mentioned it. There's a lot of finger pointing in Vegas. Oh, well, that was the delivery guy. Because we own the entire process, we're a single source. I am a phone call away. My service doesn't end right after our meeting here. I'm going to follow you through as well as be there for the final walkthrough inspection because I'm big on referrals. And I'm going to be the only contact you need for now or from 10 years from now, hopefully, when we're adding projects or phases to your remodel.
Okay, good. Right? Now, I'm going to personalize it maybe a little more, right? So that it doesn't sound like the same thing could be delivered to 6 other people that I see today. But at the end of the day, all I'm trying to do is just tailor this. That's it, just tailor it. I share with you stories of people that I met. I met if I've shared this guy with you before, my apologies. But I walked into the home. This was an elderly couple. They were, I don't know, they were in their 70s. And they wanted to replace some carpet. The carpet doesn't really matter. I walked into the home, and of course, like most people, they want to just take me directly to the project site, right? All the carpet's in here down this hallway. Well, they had this cabinet in the foyer, this glass cabinet in the foyer, and inside the cabinet were all these different beer steins. And I mean, just within a second, you can look and see all these different beer steins are from all over the world. And so I stopped dead in my tracks and I say, oh, this is cool. Have you been to all these different places in the world? And the lady stops before the man does, and she says, oh, so you like these? I'm like, it's just interesting. You know, it's not often that I walk into a home and right in the foyer, you know, there's a whole bunch of beer steins. So he starts telling me the story. Well, he was a sniper in the Army. And we go through, and every one of these beer steins was from a different place that he had been. And, you know, so we go through all that. And then he really got into it. He talked about the fact that he had 96 confirmed kills, but he really had 4 more that he knew that, and he went into details about how he knew because he saw the blood splatter and all this. I mean, we really got into this, right? And so he goes into all this whole thing. Okay, great. Now, how am I going to take a sniper experience and put it into a company story?
Give them the floors. It's not worth it.
How can I take this man's experience and build it into the floors?
Well, if he's a sniper, his attention to detail is very high. He's, you know, he's very particular.
Good. All right. So Tim, what slide could I use and really hone in on detail?
It could be on the training.
Yeah, slide 8.
It could be.
Training's been missed. Yeah.
It could be. All right. So we could hit here.
Maybe the
How would you do it
manufacturing direct side.
I think the "we're not happy till you're happy" slide. You know, our job isn't done till you fill in the rest.
All right. You could. I like the training angle. You know, you could absolutely say, hey, you know, in your role in the Army, I know you had to go through extensive training. Nobody's going to put a sniper on a ridge until they know that that person is well trained to do the job that they've got to do. And we're the same way. We don't allow an installer to come into your house. We don't allow anybody to come into your home unless they are ready to be on that ridge. And in our case, that means actually putting the floor into your home.
All right, Arlen, as a Marine sniper, I'll say you did a great job with that.
All right. Yes. Okay. So the reality is, it's not about, look, I don't know anything about being a sniper. I mean, I've shot a gun before, but I wasn't a sniper. I don't have to know. But this is actually a good point to go back to the warm up. So I walked up to a customer's home and the garage was open, and inside the garage was all this scuba equipment. Okay, now I've never been diving. I don't know anything about scuba, but there was all this diving equipment. So when the customer opens the door, I asked them, I said, hey, you know, I see all this diving equipment in the garage. Are you guys big divers? Of course they are, dumbass. But yeah, so they say, yeah, absolutely. So the guy walks me into the garage and he starts explaining all this stuff to me. And I'm asking questions out of genuine, you know, I have no idea. I want to learn. So he's explaining the regulator to me. Here's the tanks and here's the wetsuit, the difference between a wetsuit and a dry suit. So he's going through all this stuff, right? And I'm asking him, you know, so when you pick a regulator, how do you know that this is the right, do you have different ones for freshwater, saltwater? I don't know, you know, deep dive versus a shallow dive. I mean, you know, what's the difference between all these things, right? He goes in all this technical stuff. Good. So how am I going to weave all that into the company story? Or how am I going to weave some of that into the company story?
I like the waterproof floor.
Well, maybe. I mean, if that's what they were looking for, but I'm not interested in the floor. I'm interested in the person.
Yeah.
So how am I going to relate the company story to this person?
I think this slide right here. I mean, you got to get certified for scuba. You got to be trained and, you know, keep current on how to do it right. I think this one right here is a good slide for it. I think.
So I could talk about how, you know, if we had the conversation about his licensing or certification, in this particular case, we really didn't go down that path. We really stuck to a lot of the equipment, but you absolutely could talk about how, you know, when you certified in scuba, that was a big deal because you had to prove competency. Well, you know what? Our installers here in Vegas, they have to prove competency because they become our installers. Okay, good. Whatever, right? I don't know. It has to be you. It can't be me. I don't know what your experience is. I don't know what your customer's experience is. I could take, let's see, you could pick one. It doesn't matter which one, you know. Our whole deal is that we want to serve people. We absolutely want to serve people. And we're part of a family of brands that are all about service. And this is a family of brands that represent high quality, high service. And I know one of the things that you mentioned when you were picking out wetsuits, when you were picking out tanks, when you were picking out regulators, you really wanted to work with somebody that was going to be able to fit your needs and really be able to serve you. And this is exactly what we're going to do when it comes to your floors, is be able to serve you.
Well, Arlen, both the sniper and the scuba diver both rely on disciplines for sheer survival alone. I mean, if we're talking about what we vet in a universe of flooring, which the scuba guy has no idea what he wants for flooring, is why he's calling you out. I wouldn't think the sniper guy did either. The fact that we have those disciplines in all the various universe of people that we deal with as far as suppliers and our consistent training, those things have a subliminal way of matching up with that personality.
Absolutely. Yep.
You could refer to the fact that he's comfortable underwater, like you're comfortable navigating the flooring process, and make a comparison there.
Good. All right, so my point in all this, okay, every time you do a company story, it should be unique. It should never sound the same way twice. If you find that you're saying the same thing on the same slides over and over and over again, then frankly, you're not doing it right, if I can just be blunt. The point here is, you know, I know that we kind of get comfortable and we use the same transitions between the slides every time, but to really, really get good at a company story, and the whole point of the company story is to personalize it so that the customer sees us as being the right fit for them. Okay, well, if I'm going to do that, then I've really got to listen in the warm-up, and I've got to pull information out in the warm-up that I can later relate to. Sometimes I use the word use, but that sounds like I'm trying to manipulate people. I'm not trying to manipulate people. I'm just trying to be relatable, right? So if I want to be relatable, then I want to be able to relate these slides to exactly what their experiences are. What makes them tick? In step 3, you measure the space, you work up some options, you go out to the van, you pull product. But there's a little subset of step 3 that's often overlooked. And in step 3, you're sitting in the van, and this is the opportunity to think about, how am I going to relate my company story to this customer? Yes, I realize in the beginning, it's all about, okay, which carpet am I going to pull out? Which pad am I going to pull out? What am I going to do for an LVP or what? Okay, fine, you have to do all that. But really, the beauty of being able to step away from the customer is to be able to have time to strategize and to have time to think about, how can I purposefully personalize this company story for this person?
You know, Arlen,
Let's
I keep
see.
waiting for somebody to tap into the Our Promise slide that you just got to. And, you know, I know it's easy because it's the second slide in your mind, in theory, in the story journey. But this is one of the most open-ended slides because it's the most authentic slide to every one of you. Every one of you is there with a commitment to assure your customer, pledge to your customer, and promise to your customer that you heard what they said, that you're valuing their opinion and their desire for what they're conveying to you, and that you are going to deliver that to them unequivocally. And you get to restate the things that they said to you, that value means a lot to me, that being eco-friendly means a lot to me, that durability means a lot to me, that it's really important that it blends with the aura of my room. All the things that you're going to hear, you get to reaffirm them back to them to prove that you've been listening, that you're paying attention, and that you're completely authenticating and valuing what they're telling you. And you can use this core promise, which is above all what you're going to do for them, given the opportunity, to reaffirm all that and give them the assurance that that is what they're going to get should they choose you. So, don't use it every time, but I think this is one that you can lean into if you're having a hard time sort of finding the connective tissue on what you've heard. This one, you can always just lean into your own personality and let it come naturally.
Nice. All right, I want to play for you guys. I want to play something for you guys, because in all of this, it really matters that you practice this. It really does. You can't walk into a customer's home and do this without having done it before. You have to be able to practice it. So I want to share this with you. Does anybody know who Nick Saban is? Anybody?
Alabama.
Alabama coach.
All right. Anybody an Alabama fan?
No.
Maybe not. All right. That's fine. You don't have to be. You absolutely don't have to be an Alabama fan. But Nick Saban is one of the winningest college football coaches that's ever been. And I just want you to hear what he has to say about process.
Will continue in a moment.
The chant is get your mind right. It's the mantra of the man out front, the heartbeat of the Alabama Crimson Tide, head coach Nick Saban. His program has become the gold standard of college football. To get a sense of how Saban has driven Alabama to the top, we begin with an afternoon in early August. An energized Saban couldn't wait to get to his favorite part of the day.
All right, blow the horn, let's go.
To practice. A thunderstorm had forced his team indoors.
Top hat, set, go.
But it didn't dampen Saban's passion to teach his players the finer points of football.
I want you to step. We're not getting much out of this, guys, because you guys won't do this stuff right. Do it again. No, bring it back. Do it again.
In demanding his players be as exacting as he is, Saban can be volcanic.
I've told you 3 times already today.
Why are you so tough on people? Well, I don't know if that's fair, that I'm really tough on people. We create a standard for how we want to do things. And everybody's got to buy into that standard, or you really can't have any team chemistry. You know, mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people.
Saban doesn't miss anything. On this afternoon, a freshman caught Saban's eye.
Hey, Eddie.
Number 4, Eddie Jackson, who seemed lost.
You an offensive lineman or what?
Jackson, a defensive back, was stretching with the offensive lineman.
You got to buy him, Eddie.
Trying to master Alabama's complex schemes was too much, too soon for Jackson.
Hey, Eddie, it's kick support. It's cover 2. Why are you backing up? You're supposed to come and force the edge.
Jackson looked like he wanted to crawl into a hole.
Come on, Eddie.
All of Alabama's players have been there.
Oh, Vinny.
Safety Vinny Sunseri remembers the day he and a fellow defensive back forgot a play.
And he throws his hat, and it's a straw hat, and it's not really heavy. He's able to throw it like Zorro at us. I thought it was going to hit us and knock us out. And it just starts yelling at us, and we're like, oh, we just got Saban.
Got Saban.
Yeah.
He messed up my hat.
But Saban's players have faith in their coach largely because of a revolutionary approach he designed years ago called the process. Ignore the scoreboard, Saban preached to his players. Don't worry about winning. Just focus on doing your job at the highest level, every single play, and the wins will follow.
The approach.
I want to stop it right there. That last statement that he made. Focus on doing your job the right way every time, and the wins will follow. And I am 100% believer that that's the case in sales. Now, whether you use, this process, use a different process, everybody has a process. Everybody has it, whether it's called the inspired sale process or something else. At the end of the day, how you sell, you are going to develop a process. If you use this process, the benefit is that you can ask for help and people can help you. If you use a different process, okay, maybe people can't help you, but you have a process. If you have a process that can be practiced, if you have a process that can be perfected, and you use that process the same way every time, it makes a huge difference in your ability to close. And then you learn from other design associates. These are ways that they do follow-up, or this is how they're making their inspection video better, or this is what they're doing to make their reference list better. This is what they're doing to do this better. Great. Learn and put it in your process and make it strong. But you'll notice, whether it's Alabama or any other sports team or any musician, anybody that's in a professional capacity, nobody walks into, in our case, the customer's home. Nobody walks into their job and just does it without having practiced it. And so things like, we're going to personalize this. We're going to work on a warm up, and then we're going to personalize that warm up, and we're going to personalize the company story to this particular warm up. It doesn't come natural. It really is uncomfortable when you first start doing it, but it is something that needs to be practiced. So one of the things that you're going to see tomorrow, we've got a couple of things for sure that I have to get through tomorrow. But one of the things that we're going to do is I really want to spend some focused time just practicing this. And so we're going to end up moving ourselves into breakout rooms and simply practicing a quick warm up, and then pitch the company story to that person using things that are only relevant for them. This is something that I think company story is one of the greatest tools that you have in your toolbox if you learn how to use it right. If you don't, then it's a drag. So let's figure out how to use it right so that you have you can actually use it to your advantage.
Hey, Arlen, besides in the tablet, and I'll be honest with you, I should probably already have this. Can we download that company story to have it in like a PDF version so we can scan through it and not have to be in our tablet looking at it?
Yep. So if you go to Floor 11 again, which is tough from home, right? But if I go into the franchise owner's manual again, this time I go to inspired sales training.
All right, where's the? Okay, it's the second one. As in dashboard.
Yep. So go to dashboard and then library.
Okay.
And then go to the franchise owner's manual.
Okay.
And now look down the list and you'll see inspired sale training.
All right.
All right. So inside the inspired sale training, we're going to go one more folder, company story resources.
Okay, there it is. The 2023 company story.
Yep, and you've got a couple of files there. One is your 2023 company story. The other one is the same company story. It's just that there's been slides that have been added in between with sample transitions between the slides.
Okay.
You don't have to use those. It just gives you some sample transitions, whatever you want to do with it.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, team. So I'll save the time of going around the room to each person, but let me just open it up for questions about what we did today. Tomorrow we're going to be back on again at 11 o'clock Eastern, just like we were today. But before we sign off today, I want to see what questions you've got. Anything open? Hopefully this was helpful. All right, well, if not, I'm not going to hold you guys up. Enjoy doing the evaluations this evening, and I look forward, as always, to reading back through those tonight and tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Arlen. Thanks, team.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you, Arlen. Great job.
Thanks, Arlen.
Take care, guys.